Pike's pushed more and far enough ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly, Miller's still start chopper. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
On to the back end of Phil Jocelyn, so there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Coming down to the side. Have it. Is going to get it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly, Miller's still start chopper. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry! Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first ever Triple Bypass GTP GT3 Endurance Series at Daytona Road Circuit. I am James Parfitt. I'm going to be joined in the booth once more by Bradley Dalton, who's going to be here bringing us all the action today. What is the format? Well, it is 2.25 hours of racing, unlimited tires, 2 fast repairs, and it is a fixed setup. Okay, fixed setup. So the GTP classes will have around 650 brake horsepower. The GT3s will have between 500 to 570. The race sponsor this evening is Grant Parker. The number 43 car, much appreciated for him. And we're at the Chattanooga Chew here as well, which have kindly sponsored this evening's race. So thank you both to them guys. Let's have a look at the schedule this season. We're at Daytona Road Circuit. We then, on February 2nd, go to the Monza GP circuit. That should be an interesting one, to be fair, for an hour and 35 minutes. Then we're off to Twin Ring Mitigi on the 23rd for the GTPs on 1 hour and 35 minutes. Then going to Sebring for an hour and 35, and then Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Now that is one that we definitely want to be trying to broadcast, because the final race of this season will be absolutely amazing. Don't forget, guys, if you want to get yourselves involved in racing, 5 nights of racing, Sundays Gen 4, Tuesdays late models, Wednesdays at the GR86s, I believe, Thursday is Xfinity, and Friday, obviously tonight, the GTPs and GT3s. It's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be a very, very tight one. But let's see what happens here as well. Low IRL League 7000. Let's go, boys. But let's bring Brad into the booth, who's had enough time sitting on the sidelines here as well, listening to me ramble on. Brad, welcome in, dear sir. How are you?
James, I'm doing good this evening. This is going to be my first time commentating mixed class racing. I've ran several mixed class events and several endurance events personally, but this is my first time commentating one, so I'm pretty excited. Daytona Road course, I don't feel like I need to introduce this track or this car setup. I don't feel like I need to, especially we're mid-January. We're less than 2 weeks away from the real life Rolex 24 hour, which I will be in attendance in real life. I have my flight booked. I have my hotel booked, and I am ready to go watch some real life racing. And this is just the warm up for the real thing for me. This is going to be a fun event here. Triple bypass, deciding left turns. They're kind of bored of it. Let's throw some right turns in the mix and let's see what we can get out there. And lots of names that I recognize. And James, it's going to be a good race.
It definitely is the low IRL. I'm here for the NFL lineman in reference to me completely getting a pun completely wrong yesterday as well. I knew what I was talking about, Brad. I just didn't quite get there with enough accuracy.
I mean, I knew what you were talking about, too. That's the thing. I knew what you were talking about. You knew what you're talking about. I didn't think it was that bad of a pun, personally. I thought you hit it pretty well.
Yeah, I appreciate that as well. Right, car choices. Okay, so let's start off in the GT3s. We've got Lamborghinis, we've got BMWs, we've got Porsches, we've got Audis, we've got Matt Harmon in the Ford. Gonna love Matt Harmon if he takes a victory in the Ford. In the GTPs, we have got... It's gonna be absolutely amazing. In the GTPs, we've got Sean Bradley in the BMW. We've got Carl Gretsch in the Cadillac. So we've got Cadillacs and BMWs. Bradley's gone and put it on pole position because, you know, why not? Here as well for the GTP. So that's going to be absolutely amazing. We've got Carl Gretsch on a few purples as well. The first time ever, right? This is the first time ever I've ever commentated on a Cadillac here as well. So I'm popping my own LMP1 cherry tonight.
These GTP LMP1 cars are amazing. When they announced this Cadillac GTP car and seeing some of the videos of it, I absolutely love it. I know a lot of people are big fans of that BMW GTP, but for me, it's the Cadillac. It's just the raw sound, if anything else. And I am going to tell you, iRacing has nailed it. I own the GTP Cadillac in iRacing and have ran it. And it is nail on the head, 1-to-1, how I would think it would sound in real life. And give me about 2 weeks and I'll report back if it does sound the same. I'll tell you in round 2, because by that time I'll be down and back. So I can tell you if it all sounds right.
Well, I want a complete and utter video sent to me as well. Dwarnik here out in front in the GT3 class at the moment. He is running the BMW. We'll leave the brands up on the screen. I think it gives you a better idea of what's going on here as well. Grant Parker, who is today's sponsor, of course, so much love to Grant, is in the BMW GT3 class as well. So he's running the GT3 BMW. So that's going to be absolutely amazing. Currently, he is sitting in 5th place. We've even got a Mercedes in Robert Freiberg out on track as well. And we've got a couple of Porsches here with Cameron Kane and a Lamborghini as well. I know you're going to love the Cameron Kane's livery. Look at it. It's absolutely beastly. Go on, son. Have it. And then we've got Cameron Kane is in the BMW, and then John Campbell, JC, of course, in the Lamborghini here as well. Steve McClendon, Team Cheese in the Cadillac. He is out on track in that fabulous Jack Daniels livery as well. Looks absolutely amazing. These guys have gone all out on these liveries here, Brad, tonight. What do we think's going to happen, right? You know, we've got 16, what do we got? 11, 15 cars on track. You know, it's going to be a tough one in multi-class, right? Because obviously the LMPs or GTPs or whatever you want to call them will catch the GT3s. Traffic management is going to be important, isn't it?
Yeah, traffic management, exactly what I'm thinking. And here's the thing, this is a 2.5-hour race. We talked about this last night with the Xfinity series about pacing yourself. This is the true test of can you pace yourself, especially if you're one of these guys running these GTP classes. And here's the thing, some of these guys are running solo, some of these guys are running in teams of 2 or 3 drivers. So it's really going to be a case of what can they do to pace themselves and what can they do to just hold on. I think most of these guys are actually running solo, with the exception of a couple of the GT3 guys. But the thing is, with the traffic, you catch up to one of these GT3 cars, you're in the GTP, you've got more power, but you can't just send it, because the last thing you want to do is ruin your race because you're trying to get around the slower car. You've got to have that patience. You've got to think it's a 2.5 hour race, 2 hours, 25 minutes, 2.5 hours, whatever you want to call it. It's a long race and you've got to use your brain the whole time.
Absolutely there as well. I love Low over IRL. He's been so nice to me in YouTube chat. Don't apologize for greatness. We all knew it was perfect. Well, there we go. In reference to me, NFL linesman one or backer or whatever he's called. I don't know. But anyway, moving on. We'll crack on with this one as well. We'll get this up and running and get this racing off and going here tonight. It's going to be, well, interesting. Don't forget, a lot of these guys are just used to turning left, okay? They just turn left. So to have right turns in there, they've had to put an R and an L on their hands just to know which way they've got to go, because otherwise they're going to go left constantly, because normally the L is just there. Brad, it's going to be a tough one for some of these people to turn right.
Yeah, it's definitely unique, and I like that Triple Bypass is doing this. When I saw the announcement come through and you posted the calendar and said, hey, I'm looking for somebody to cover some GTP, GT3, I had to do a double take, and I was like, wait, Triple Bypass? Isn't that the NASCAR league? And they're running road courses? Are we sure they know that the wheel can go both ways on their cars?
Exactly.
But in all honesty, this is a good stretch of the legs, and sometimes you need to do this in the sim racing and the racing world. We see it all the time. Kimi Räikkönen, he got bored with F1 and went and ran rally and NASCAR for a little bit and then went back to F1 for a little bit. I mean, drivers they want that something special. They want that something different. And every once in a while, they just want to be challenged. And the thing is, all of these drivers are very good in their respective ways with left turns. And sometimes they just want a little bit of a challenge. They want something different. You want that flavor, that flair. And I think especially talking to the admins of Triple Bypass and hearing their opinions on it, they want to see this group grow. They want the GTP, GT3, and GT4s to grow, and they want to see more racers involved. So they are looking to expand their league. Because the thing is, if you start adding more cars, you start adding more different classes, you bring in more racers, and it just pumps up your numbers. You get more stuff going, and it looks really good. It gives your league more momentum. So all around, I think this is a great addition to Triple Bypass, and I'm excited to see how things play out for this first season.
Yeah, absolutely. Brian, is this you in YouTube chat? I'm watching this because I refuse to use my brain for 2.5 hours. So he's going to sit on his sofa. I'm hoping I'm on the TV, Brian, because I can tell you that much. If I'm not on the TV, I'm going to be very, very unhappy here as well. I want to make sure I'm on the TV. So send me a picture. Here is the race grid. Carl Gretsch will be leading the way in his caddy for the GTPs, with Ben Harkham in second, Steve McClendon in third, Ryan Hyatt in fourth, Sean Bradley fifth, and Dustin Barton in sixth. In the GT3s, it's Nick Dwarnick out in front with Tyler Merritt in second. Going to be absolutely amazing. Yeah, wrong account, says Brian, so it is Brian Cooper there as well. My OBS has just decided that it wants to disconnect and reconnect, so hopefully it will stay up and running. Connection successful. Well, that's always good. Thank you very much for that, OBS. Much appreciated. It's good to know it was working in the background there, Brad, because otherwise we could be in deep trouble.
Yeah, OBS, it's the bane of every broadcaster's existence. But thankfully things are up. And James, I'm going to ask you a question. How do you expect this round one to go? How do you expect at the end of 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 25 minutes, where are we going to be at?
Well, we're down to 15 cars. We've lost Anthony Speraza already at the beginning, so that's taken us down to 15. Now, I'm hoping we have 15 finish, but I also am aware it's going to be tough, right? So let's hope that we get everybody done and dusted and everybody can get through this. The GTPs will be on their way. GT3s are leaving a bit of a gap here as well, around about 7 seconds at the moment. Carl Gretsch is out on the lead here for the GTPs. I'm hoping it stays close, Brad. I think that's the thing. If it starts spreading out, you know, me and you are going to be feeling like crazy. I'm just hoping that it stays close together and the racing is good, and I think that's the thing. We've got 6 GTPs. It would have been great to get 8 to 10. That would have made it exciting, but let's see how this one pans out. We will be coming through to this start line very, very shortly here as well as we go on board with Carl Gretsch in the caddy here as the pace car is going to do some weird left turn in a very short while. There he goes. We're going to be up and running. Carl Gretsch into that Geico restart zone. They start as soon as they cross the line this time. Let's not forget that, because at the end of the day, we do not have NASCAR. Carl Gretsch is up and running. We are underway here as well as these guys are all going to make it through turn 1 successfully. They do. Onto the GT3s. Dwarnick out in front. Tyler Merrick, Rick Waite battling away. Woo! Oh, no.
Oh. Was that Harmon? Just completely forgot where a brake pedal was, James. Look at this.
No, it wasn't Matt Harmon. It was another BMW. Oh, we're behind a tree. That ain't a lot. Oh, that's Rick Waite. Who was that other BMW? It was Al Corey. No way.
Oh, my God.
Al Corey, before we've even gone anywhere, decided to miss the braking point and literally torpedo Rick Waite. Oh, he just missed the 2 leaders as well. That would have been very interesting. Al Corey there. I would say he's off to a flyer, but I'm not too sure he is.
The thing with turn 1 at Daytona, it's a dangerous game that you play, because it's not as simple as a straight braking line, and these cars like to brake in a straight line, but you're having to give left turn and you're having to brake, and you've got to watch that lockup. And unfortunately for him, that's just what happened. I mean, there was nothing he could do there. And then he tried to avoid the cars in front and just didn't have enough space. And we're lap 1 in. We've already got 2 cars out.
Wow. JC, John Campbell there as well. Unfortunately, Al Corey, I believe, is in. No, he's trying to get that car back to the pits. You have got literally 3/4 of a track. Where did John Campbell actually go? He was here a minute ago and then he just disappeared as Carl Gretsch and Ben Harkham scrapping it out here for the front of the GTP class. Currently, there is Ben Harkham's livery. Looks absolutely amazing. Sexy Waltrip behind him, and then Steve McClendon behind that as well. JC, John Campbell, entered the pit lane right at the beginning. I don't think there was any form of issue. He just went straight in and never come back out there, sir.
That's unfortunate for Campbell. I wonder if that is a case of a real life issue, or if that is we'll call it a mechanical issue. We can call it a hardware issue, number of things, but unfortunate to see him out there before we could even get the race going, because these guys are giving good races, and these GTP guys are keeping each other very, very honest here, going through the International Horseshoe for the 3rd time, if you count the pace lap. And the GTP guys are not opening up the gap, and honestly, neither are the GT3s. The GT3s are staying nice and close to each other, and there we go past Corey on the bottom, and GTPs have officially put a GT3 lap down, and we keep it running. 2 hours and 21 minutes to go here as we run down into turn 1, and look at this. Harkham around the outside, hits the braking point well, and new leader, Ben Harkham. Here we go.
Yeah, Ben Harkham out in front there as well, Brian. In YouTube chat, Daytona 2.5 feet.
Oh, the YouTube chat gives us some of the best play-by-plays, honestly.
That's quality. Poor old Al Corey there as well. I need to give a shout out to Ryan Hyatt, because I dropped him in the bit of a doo-doo last night with the old Matt Perezzini P. Diddy nickname. So I'm glad to see Ryan out on track. I'm glad Matt hasn't actually got hold of him. Yeah, like he did say, I will sort him out. So I was a bit worried for Ryan here as well. But he's made it out on track, which is absolutely amazing. Gretchen McClendon still scrapping it out here as well. The draft is going to be strong, as we know. It is Daytona here. Brad, I think it's always going to be strong, the draft in general. You know, it's going to make for interesting racing. It's going to make for, how can I put it, close racing, as long as they don't do anything crazy.
Yeah, it really helps close up that speed gap, honestly. Sometimes you see the guys with slight pace differences, especially in a smaller field like this. You really can tell where those pace differences hit. But the good thing about the gap, especially in these GTP cars that are very, very aerodynamic, is it's going to help them close things up. And even if there is a speed difference there and a bit of a gap that comes out during the infield, by the time they get around NASCAR turn 1, 2, 3, and 4 and through the horseshoe, you're not going to notice it. And when they're diving into that turn 1, they're just right back together. So it really helps keep everything nice and honest and competitive. And it's one of the things that I love about Daytona.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked earlier on about the unlimited tire situation, right? I think that the point of that is the fact that they haven't got to worry about tires. They can just run the car out right the way down to its bare bones before they have to go in there as well. You can see Steve McLennan getting a big old couple of corrections coming out the Western Horseshoe there as well before he goes in through turn 6 onto the banking at 7, and now we're running down through NASCAR 1 and 2. That's the good thing about this series. The unlimited tires, they can just go hell to leather straight off the bat.
Yeah, and that's a good call from the admin. I'm going to constantly shout out Triple Bypass for their admin. They are amazing through and through to interact with and talk to, but that's a good decision from them to let the drivers not have to worry about strategy. Don't worry about pit stops. Don't worry about stint limits, any of that. Hey, if you want to drive 2.5 hours on the same set of tires and you can make it work, by all means, send it and do it. You might regret it by the end of 2.5 hours, but hey, go for it. If you need to pit every 30 minutes for tires because you don't know how to conserve tires and you're just driving these cars ragged, bare bones as hard as you can, do it. That's a good decision through to just cater to that sort of strategy setup and let it be about the drivers driving. Don't make it about, well, he used up his second set of tires quick and had to pit 10 laps early and then had to run an hour on tires where the guy behind him was on 25-minute tires. We're still going to see that strategy play out, obviously, but it's not going to be as much of a contending factor. Great decision there, and I'm excited to see how that racing goes as we're watching on board here with Merritt, who is trying to chase Dwornik down and is doing a pretty good job here. So the front two in the GT3 class, James, are keeping each other very, very close for this first in class.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they are. They're doing the battle here as best as possible. We've got the front GTPs separated by about a second to 1.2. Bradley's a little bit further back, Hyatt's a little bit further back, and Barton is a little bit further back from there. Whoa! Hold it, Tyler, hold it! God, he ain't stopping that. He is not stopping that. He's going to have to go hard on the brakes as Tyler Merritt there in that Audi and make his way off again. He's going to, all that hard work Bradley just done, kind of gone out the window in one foul swoop there with one mistake going into turn 1.
Turn 1 can be so rewarding and so stressful. And now as the drivers run here through the dogleg down towards West Horseshoe, the big thing now is he just needs to try to keep pace through this infield section. Keep pace, hold on to it, and once you hit the speedway, let the draft bring you back in. But turn 1 is where you have to send it through. You've got to try to take advantage into turn 1. And you can see that Merritt's willing to give it a shot at least and do what he can. He may even, if he can hold on to this about half a second gap and just keep his foot down, stay on the slipstream here through NASCAR's turn 1 and 2, maybe even going down into the bus stop or the International Horseshoe, he will be able to have a little bit of a lunge down the horseshoe and go side by side.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for him, he's got to play it by ear. And I think, to be honest, he's also got to sit back and think, I've got 2 hours, 15 minutes to go, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what they have got. There are going to be pit stops involved in this one. What has Dustin Barton been up to in the GTP here, the caddy? Dustin Barton going down into turn 1. Hard on that back end's coming round, son. I'm sorry. It clearly was. Bit late. Carrying A little bit too much power there for Dustin Barton, and unfortunately the back end decided to take a trip round. One of the fears coming off that corner, isn't it? They've got to make sure that they are able to try and stop the car into turn one. Everything generally we've seen this at this moment in time has been turn one based. You know, the incident right at the beginning and everything else. So I think for everybody, it's managing turn one to be able to then go on and do the rest of the lap. One of the other areas as well is obviously up at the bus stop chicane, you know, making sure you ride the curbs properly there, Brad, because being an inch off either side is going to make your car jump, and that's going to cause you a problem.
Yeah, the track limits here at Daytona are very unforgiving, and one of the fun things with iRacing is that grass and iRacing is quite literally just ice. So if you are not careful with it and you go on that grass a little bit too much, you can pretty much kiss your whole thing goodbye. You're not going to have a good time with it. And we're going to witness as things go on. We've only ran 10 minutes. We've got 2 hours and 15 minutes left to go here in this race. So as this race goes on, we start to see that little bit of fatigue start to creep in here and there. We start to see just the drivers get a little bit tired as things go. And we're going to see those small mistakes hit.
Yeah, I think
one person's going to have a big one into a wall.
Yeah, I think that's what we're waiting on, aren't we? Everybody's kind of waiting for that one big one here as well. Grant Parker chasing down here as well. Grant in the BMW, Robert Freiberg in the Merc as the GTP goes through. JC's back out on track. We are a few laps down there, JC. Keep going there, buddy. Sean Bradley has unfortunately had a moment. Oh, my dearie me. We can just literally sit back and say turn one again. Hold on the brakes. Back end's coming round. There we go. And also going on the grass in this car is not ideal for Sean Bradley. So Bradley, unfortunately, on lap 7, also down into turn 1, having a bit of a moment. So, yeah, turn 1 looks to be the evil one, should we say, this evening.
Yeah, and that makes sense. Like I talked about earlier, that downhill braking, left-hand braking, you have to straighten that corner as much as you can, but if you try to take it in a straight line, you're going to be so off the pace. So you've got to know how to brake. You've got to be able to hit the brakes and hold on to it, but get that car around. And it really is going to be the challenging corner for this entire 2 hours, 25 minutes race. And another thing, James, that I just noticed sitting here watching and looking at timing screens and looking at things, GTPs are in the mix of the GT3s. Our GTP leaders are catching up to our P3 here of Kane and the Porsche, in Rexy the Porsche. So this is going to be where we start to see some mix-ups as well, is watching these GTP cars mix their way through GT3s and split the field.
Yeah, definitely past the Ford there, and Matt Harmon goes Ryan Hyatt. So let's see how he gets on here as well. We've got the looming Porsche of Cameron Kane as well. Don't dive him at the chicane. Don't dive him at the chicane. Don't.
Good.
Stop. Take the outside line. He's going to have to bring it in. Or you want to give him a little bit more room than that, Mr. Hyatt. I can tell you that much there as well. Be a little bit careful as Tyler Merritt still chasing Nick Dwarnick down as well, and giving these guys a right old ding-dong of a battle here. Coming into turn 1 again. Brake, let it drift out. Now pull it in towards the wall. Stay off the grass, because otherwise your back end will join you here once more. But Tyler does a great job there. 3 tenths separated between these guys. They've kind of been at each other's throats since the beginning, which is always going to be good. And the GTPs, I think once everybody starts pitting as well, they'll start bringing it back together. They'll start bringing the field back in as well. Thomas, no, just no. Thomas has put a wonder when Tyler's going to wreck. Well, nearly then. Right at that moment in time. So there you go. I'm trying to get Tyler to full send it. No, do not do that. Don't get him to full send it there, please, sir. We don't want this 2.5 hour race over and done and dusted. Sunrise is coming? Nope. Unfortunately there, Brian, the sunrise is setting. It's actually setting. It's 5:15 in the morning. Track temperature in the evening, sorry. 23 degrees air temperature, 24 degrees track temperature. So I'm going to expect that one to come down as well. Ben Harkham, Kyle Gretsch, now starting to come back together. And this is kind of what we expected. The open, the back, the throw in, the two in. You know, it could be a lot going on here throughout this race, so we're hoping that it does keep this way, Brad. I think managing to keep all of these cars on track will be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and the drivers, I can see a bit of that patience coming through that I talked about earlier, and a bit of that pacing themselves. Not everyone is full sending it now. Tyler Merritt is maybe the exception to that rule, but not all of the drivers, I think, are really pushing to their ultimate pace. I think they are saving it a bit, especially looking at lap times and seeing, you know, we've got our leaders in GTP doing high 132s, low 133s, and our GT3 cars, our fastest drivers are doing 146s, 147s. So the drivers are keeping it back a bit and just, they've dialed it down just a tad to hold on here to the end. Now, as things go, we'll see if they can hold on to that decision, or if, especially with like these GTP cars where it's 1, 2, and 3 are separated by about a second and a half, we'll see if they start to feel the pressure of the car behind and maybe slight airs mix in. And as the sun goes down, we'll really start to see things heat up.
Yeah, absolutely here as well. Brian again, tell Tyler to smash every button on that controller at once and see what happens. Please don't tell me Tyler Merritt's on a controller. If that is true, please don't tell me that. Tyler using the X button for throttle. See, that's what I would use. That's what I used to use when I played the old F1 game. It's sim, whatever. And I used to use the X button for going forward. And then, what is it, the square on the left-hand side for the brake, I think? So I used to X and square. Yep. So that's what I used to use there as well. So is he actually on a controller? No way. Tyler Merritt is on a controller. Get out. Well, he drives well for a man on a controller.
He drives better than me, and I have a pretty good little setup myself.
I do find sometimes though, that driving on a controller is a little bit easier. Like F1, driving on a controller is a lot more easier than driving with a wheel. I think that's the thing. I don't think me arms, you know, go quickly enough on a wheel where I can use my fingers a little bit easier. You know what I mean? So I think at the end of the day, fair play to Tyler Merritt. The movement of the car wouldn't tell us that he's on a controller, because you're used to seeing that double turn. Do you know what I mean? With a controller, there's only so far you can go with a thumbstick.
Yeah, it's he has that controller dialed in perfectly. Like, that's man, Tyler Merritt, take a bow. Wow. Yeah, anybody want to buy a full sim racing setup for me? Because obviously I am not skilled enough to have it.
Yeah, I clearly need to go and get a controller, I think. You know what I mean? I bought a controller for my Nintendo Switch. Maybe I should use it for this as well, because it seems to be a lot better on a controller than I probably would be on a steering wheel, to be honest. But there we go. I suppose a controller for NASCAR would be fairly straightforward, wouldn't it? Just flicking it to the left every time. You know what I mean? The front two of the GTPs have come together. Steve McClendon is also in the mix as well. So 3 of the GTP leaders battling it out here, Brad, as well. Let's hope that they can keep it clean as they're coming in to the horseshoe, and then we go out to the Western Horseshoe. There is a name on that horseshoe. Oh, dearie me, my brain's gone blank here. As we go out to the Western Horseshoe, which is the other side. It's good to see the GTP still together on lap 12 with still 2 hours and 7 minutes to go.
Yeah, it's going to be a long 2 hours and 7 minutes for Ben Harkham if he holds on up front like that, because he is just going to continue to slowly feel pressure from Kyle Gresh and Steve McClendon, because these drivers have good pace and they are running. I mean, looking at lap times, 133.58 for Ben Harkham, 133.59 Kyle Gresh, 133.61 for Steve McClendon, and every one of the GTPs are running 133.567. Like, it is the GTP field, even though they are spread out a bit there beyond the top 3. I mean, they are running very comparable lap times. And if there's a caution, if there's anything that groups these cars back up, I have a feeling we'll see all 6 of these guys racing each other hard because they are very, very good on pace.
Yeah, absolutely there as well. I'm going to try and pull in. I think Sid Kashishian is in the car with Jason Benson. So I'm hoping that I might be able to pull Sid in for a quick chat just to see how Jason is doing and whether or not there's going to be how he's getting on here as well. And as we say that, McClendon, turn 1 again. I'm going to guarantee what's going to happen. Let's predict. Back end's going to slip out. Too quick.
Oh!
Way too quick.
Ooh. There is a breaking point there, sir.
Yeah, it's like Al Corey, isn't it, in the BMW? He did the same thing. Do you know what I mean? On lap 13.
I mean,
everything I've written down so far, because I take notes, you see, because I'm clever like that. Turn 1, turn 1, turn 1, and turn 1. That's it. That's all I've got written down. It's just turn 1 completely. Sean Bradley has just gone past Steve McClendon. Funny enough, McClendon is coming back. I want to concentrate on the GT3 gap at the moment. It's literally down to 0.1. Tyler, you've gone in too deep again. We need to just lift a little bit early. Wrap that car around now. In you go once more, dear sir, but you've just lost 7 tenths by going in deep there as well. Tyler Thumbstick Merritt. That sounds like a cool name.
Can we edit his name mid-race? Just change his name to Thumbstick? Because that's a good little name for him. I'm going to be adding that one later to my little bag of tricks and nicknames for future streams. But listen, Thumbstick or not, he is putting some pressure on Dwarnick in front, because Dwarnick and Merritt have been holding this gap pretty much since lap 1, James. I mean, it's been competitive through. And look at this, GTPs. Everyone but Gresham Barton into the pits.
I mean, Barton's probably going to come in with everybody else. They lasted all of about 20 minutes. Barton is on his way in here as well. He's going to drop down now. Gretsch also can't have much fuel to go. So there you go. For Carl Gretsch, he's got to be looking at coming in very soon. I'm going to have a chat really quickly with the teammate of Jason Benson here. Sid Kashishian is into the booth. Sid, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Got here a little late for the start, but Rafter I see has put it in the wall already, and Benson is now in the car, so we're going as expected.
Yeah, Al got a little bit excited at the beginning. And decided to completely miss turn 1 and decided to take out Rick Waite right at the beginning. Kind of put a dent in your plans already there, don't you think, Sid?
Yeah, well, Benson was supposed to qualify and start the race, but I guess he had some computer issues, so Rafter had to start, and that's about how I expected that to go. But it's okay. We're still chugging along here. We're not in last, so we're doing okay.
Yeah, you're only 2 laps down, you know what I mean, away from the leader. What more could possibly happen here as well? How long are you guys doing each then? Because free drivers, 2 hours, or 2 hours 25, should we say, don't give you very long in the car.
Yeah, so Benson's going to do 2 fuel stints, because I think fuel stint's about 25 minutes or so. So Benson's going to do 2 stints here. Rafter's going to hop back in the car for 1 more fuel stint, and then I'm going to finish it out for the last hour or so.
Okay, well, Sid, what do you think the possibilities are?
I'm hoping we can stay up around ahead of JC here, but we'll see how it goes. We're not putting too much on finishing. We just want to finish the race. We're just here to have fun. We all know we're not the fastest road racers, so we're just here for some fun.
How are you? That's what I was going to ask you, actually, Sid. I'm sorry to keep you in here and keep me company for a minute, but how are you guys coping with this in general? Because, look, let's be honest, you're all NASCAR relatively, and you're all just used to going one way, which is left, right? How are you guys programmed yourself in to realize that you have got to turn right at some point?
We're just lots of practice. I was on for about an hour and a half last night trying to get some laps in because I wasn't gonna be able to make it for practice today. But honestly, I'm personally enjoying the new challenge of trying to figure out how to turn a car right instead of just turning left.
Yeah, I did wonder, and I know it might sound crazy for me to worry about that, but I did worry about how you lot were going to get on because you're all just so used to going left-hand turn there. But Sid, thank you so much for jumping in. I'll let you pop your back up in with your boys in a minute as well, so thank you so much for that one. Have a good one, buddy. Tell Jason, keep his head down, keep it on track, and he's already doing Al better than Al. I would like to point out as well, Brian Cooper has labelled you Daytona 2.5 feet, because that was about as far as you went before Al decided to crash into somebody.
Oh, I love it. Perfect.
I know.
All right, guys. Thanks for the broadcast, and we'll catch you next time.
Take care, buddy. We nearly had a moment there, right, with Rick Waite, and it's partly due to the fact that Rick should have gone through this chicane first before letting the guys behind. You can see he moves well out the way, and Rick, I've got to be honest there, dear sir, that is not a good way of doing that. However, he has just jumped back directly into the pits as well, so maybe Rick didn't go fuel, looked like he probably should have done, and has run out here. Let me just see.
Yeah, I'm wondering. 'Cause
He's stuttering.
the thing is, yeah, I was gonna say he's either got something wrong with that car or something's happened.
He's out of fuel.
Oh man, that's the worst place too.
Yeah, he ran out of fuel. He was stuttering down into the bus stop there as well. Dustin Barton's just gone into the pits. Tyler Merritt, all of the GT3s have basically pitted here, so a great job from him. Iris Aspey is in the BMW. He's taken over from Rick as well. Don't forget to put the fuel in, Iris, please, buddy, boy, because Rick did and went one lap too far. Jason Benson is under pressure from JC. Don't forget JC. I'm not sure what happened to JC, but he went into the pits right at the beginning and come out 2 laps later. So JC is still in the car. He's a lap down on Robert Freiberg upwards. So Grant Parker, Harmon, Kane, Dwarnick and Merritt. Merritt has managed to jump Dwarnick in the pits there as we see the GTP of Barton coming out. So Merritt has come out in front. And he's managed to do that by literally 0.4 of a second, which was what he had on his pit lane time there, Brady. We had a lower pit lane time by that point, by 0.4 of a second, and he managed to jump Nick Dwernick in the process.
Yeah, and having those good pit stops can be something that actually catches a lot of drivers out in iRacing. It is something that you really do have to practice, and you might be saying to yourself, Brad, what do you mean practice a pit stop? It's go in a box and stop. Drivers a lot of times will overshoot their pit boxes and will have to back up, and it costs them a lot of time, and it can cost them positions and shoot them out into a mess of traffic ahead. But thankfully, that is not the case that happened, and these drivers are nailing pit stops, they're nailing laps. I mean, everything is looking really, really good here, James. I mean, they're giving some good action, and the fact we're only half an hour in on this 2-hour, 25-minute race is kind of shocking because I feel like we've had some good action here in the first half hour.
Yeah, I do fully agree. Tyler Merritt there still holding on from Dwarnick there as well. Tyler tried to get Thomas apparently into the car, but Thomas didn't want to get lapped 10 times, so that's fair enough. Brian tried to get the GR86 into this series. I'm not saying, Brian, it would have been a good idea because, let's face it, you know, there wouldn't have been much of an upkeep for the GR86, I'm sure, because it is not a loved car here. Tyler says hi. We'll say hi back to him, please, as well. We are here thinking about him, travelling around. Is he doing this solo, Thomas? That's what we really want to know. Tyler Merritt and Nick Dwarnick are very close together. That car of Benson is forgetting to move out the way and is beginning to just rattle my nerves a little bit here because I'm a big advocate of moving out of the way if you're under blue flags in road racing. This is road racing, Jason, so please kindly remove yourself from the situation. Whether you do it coming down into the horseshoe, just brake on the outside, allow them to take the inside line, please, because at the moment, or you could just miss your braking point completely and do that, I suppose. But yeah, please don't do that, because you get James on a bit of a rant if you start doing that, because blue flags drive me crazy.
Well, and that's one of the unique things I think with road racing versus NASCAR, and we're comparing it a lot, but Triple Bypass is primarily a NASCAR league, and then when you start throwing this out, I'm gonna pause that thought, because look at this, look at the Ford and the Porsche side by side. That is a beautiful moment through the dogleg, I believe, going into the West Horseshoe.
Yep.
That for a moment I thought was going to be real competitive, and then Harmon backed out of that. So Kane, bow down, good job. Back to my point. As I, have to squirrel moment it. You can't miss out on a good battle, though.
No.
But back to the point, the rules state it is up to the faster car to pass cleanly. However, if you are the slower car, don't make it difficult for the guy behind. You're not running the same race as him. Don't make it a problem. Don't set yourself up for a wreck. And that's different from NASCAR, because in NASCAR, there is not a blue flag rule. If you are the lapped car, you can fight that. You can fight with the leader so you don't get lapped.
Yeah.
So,
interesting. I do agree. Now, I want to ask you an opinion on a rule as we watch Iris Ashby go into turn one and completely get it wrong. I want to ask your opinion. Hold on, we've had Sean Bradley go and do something crazy as well here. What have you been up to, Sean, as he comes down into the horseshoe here as well? Oh, that's Hyatt. Hyatt stopped first, and then Bradley had nowhere to go. Hyatt was across the side of the circuit, so unfortunately for Ryan Hyatt there, while concentrating on flashing the GT3s, which is great and all, but really probably shouldn't have worried about that. Should have concentrated on stopping the car to go round the horseshoe a lot better. So, maybe we'll call Ryan Hyatt spin right round Kylie in the middle of that, while he continues on going round there as well. Blue flags, right. One of the words that completely does everybody in the iRacing Sport Code of Conduct, and it's a word that they really need to change for please remove yourself out the way. Facilitate. Please facilitate the move from the car behind. Facilitate in some people's heads means I'm going to go and rush you straight down into the bus stop, or a chicane, or a turn, or whatever, and then I'm going to jump on the mic and moan about the fact that you've just dived me to go through. When I was on a whole straight, I could have just gone to the other side of the track, lifted off a little bit, let him through, slotted in behind him. Facilitate is a word that drives me absolutely bonkers. It should have been, please remove yourself from the situation at your earliest convenience.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You get in this big battle, is it the car behind? Is it the car in front? Is it the slower class, faster class, blah, blah, blah. Everybody has their own opinion on it. But at the end of the day, if you are the slower car, usually the big thing I've always been told, and the big thing I always rely on, is be predictable to the faster car behind, and he can make the pass so much easier. What does that mean by being predictable? Be on your racing line. Do something that they're going to expect. You don't want to randomly jerk out of the way and then expect the GTP car who's closing on you at a rate of knots to just be able to millisecond react. Remember, we're online. There's internet connection involved here. There's netcode involved. There's a lot of things that go on through this race. You can't do something that they're not going to expect. So like right here, this is a great example. We're riding on board with Gresh, and they're running up here to the back of the Mercedes of Freeburg. Freeburg runs this perfectly. Stays inside line, stays predictable. Gresh and Harcum run it around the outside and send it on into turn one. If you're going into a curve, it's not necessarily you need to get off the track and stop and stay. Be predictable that GTP will pass you when they can. They've got the power out of the corner to go around. Be predictable and be calm. I think a lot of those lower class drivers panic when they see a faster car coming up because they don't want to impede. They don't want to get caught out and be like, well, you impeded the faster car, here's a penalty. And then they just create more problems for themselves. Really, you just need to stay relaxed. Keep running your own race. That GTP car behind you has plenty enough power to get around as long as you give him the space and you do predictable things.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. People don't quite understand. We're asking you to be predictable. We're asking you to be sensible. But one of the things we are asking you also to be as well is thoughtful. Think. Whatever is going to happen to you is got to happen to the person in front, okay? So if you happen to be a second back from Bob and you're Bill, and Bill's got faster cars coming through, Bill's got to think, right, I'm going to move over, out the way, let these faster cars through. Now, for me, I'm never the fastest. So if I'm on a multi-class, I can guarantee I'm probably in the GT3s, and I'm going to get lapped, right? So all I would think about is, bear with, come on to the voice, say, look, get me on the next straight, I'll get out your way. Then you just pull out the way, lift off, let them through. And you're going to lose minimal time. That's the thing. They say stay on the racing line. It's down to the faster car. It is. But if they've got the GT3 going all over the place, how the hell are the GTP drivers going to predict that one? They're not. It's just crazy. Yes, I understand being predictable, but Jesus Christ, try and help a little bit, because trust me, we ain't mind readers in cars. You know what I mean? You've got to think about it in a logic point of view.
That's true, and no two racers are going to run the same way. For example, Harkham and Gresh catching up to those GT3s there that they just ran through, and you saw one held the inside line, the other one went around the outside line, and then GTPs are swerving around through. I mean, that can create a big mess very quickly, too. And again, I say it, these GTPs have plenty of car. They'll get around the GT3s. But I will say it does, the GTP drivers, it's that logic. It's using your head, and it's being able to predict, okay, am I going to catch you before this turn? No, I need to go ahead and back off, follow you behind turn one. For example, if I'm in a GTP car and I'm Harkham and Gresh, I am not sending it through turn one like they just did. I am going to sit back and relax. But that's because I typically run the faster class when I'm multi-classing. I run the GTPs in multi-class since they've came out, because that is just, I like the car a lot more, and to be frank, it's the car I own, and it's the one I just drive the most because I like the Cadillac sound. But there's just so many layers to it, and honestly, James, we could go back and forth all day about, what should you do, what shouldn't you do, and go back and forth, and I don't think either of us would be happy with an answer, because everybody has a different opinion. I'm not happy with that move from Harkham. He locked the rears, and here we go through down into the International Horseshoe, and Gresh is a new leader here. That is a good one there.
Yeah, Ben Harkham there, just getting it onto the power a little bit early, and unfortunately the Cadillac turned around and said, no, you can't stomp on me that early. I am not a chocolate bar that you can eat. You've got to treat me like your lady. Give me some softness. Give me some love on the throttle. Don't stamp on me. Otherwise, we're going to have a little bit of a difficulty. And for Ben Harkham, he definitely had difficulty then trying to stamp on the pedal there as well. Nodge, hi from the Nodge. Great broadcasting, guys, so far, a blast. Well, Al, you've now been nicknamed Daytona 2.5 feet, because that is about as far as you went before you decided to terminate somebody in turn one. So much love to you there as well. I figured I'd be able to learn something from watching this, and so far I'm 3 lessons up. What is that? Don't turn into turn one at a rate of knots. Use the brakes and be aware that there are going to be back markers. There you go, Brian. I've taught you everything you need to know. So there you go. What more can you ask for? Brian Harkham has a little bit of a connection issue there as well. Dustin Barton is into the pits here. So Dustin in the GTP is going to have to get past Tyler Merritt. I believe there is a driver swap possibly going on in that team as well. It's either that or Dustin's just completely lost connection and is sliding down the order at a rate of knots. Matt Harmon in the Ford, chasing down Cameron Kane. It'll be awesome if Matt takes a win in the Ford. I will love that as well, I've got to be honest. But all I want to ask regarding the Ford, Brad, why does everybody whack an army livery on it? Design something sexy to make the Ford stand out.
America. Do I need to say more? As an American, just America. That's all there is to it. You take the Ford, you put American camo on it, and you send it. That is all you have to do. And I do want to point out, you mentioned it'd be awesome to see him win, and probably some of our viewers are looking at this and they're going, he's 35 seconds back from P1, P2. What do you mean win? 30 seconds in a 2.5 hour race, it's not that much. It's truly not that much. Like, That's the thing.
It's a simple one miscommunication between the leader and the GTP. It's, you know, you keep running. That's why people do 12 hours and 24, Brad, and they just run. Even they could be 2 laps back by the first 15 minutes, but they would keep going because you just never know what's going to happen. And that's the thing. There's still an opportunity. And there you go. Matt Harmon through, Cameron Kane going in deep into the bus stop. Now Matt Harmon's on his way, and he's got 35 seconds to try and catch up with the controller of Tyler Thumbstick Merritt there once more. So great job from these guys. Carl Gretsch still fighting out at the front. Been interesting. 1 hour 46 left here as well. I think this is going to be very, very exciting once we start getting down to that last hour, Brad. That last nitty-gritty bit where everybody's trying to, you know, put out on their cars. They're trying to make up positions. They're trying to do a bit of everything here. And I think this could get very, very spicy.
Yeah, I agree. We've got that first over half an hour in. We've got the drivers settled. They're in a rhythm. And at this point, it is survival time. This is not the time to show off. This isn't the time to do anything crazy. This is the time to settle down, hit your marks, and get that car to the end. This is really where you need to be feeling things out. You should have the feel for the car. You should have the feel for the track. These drivers are running fixed setups. So if you're curious about that, no, they do not have to design their own setups. And all of the drivers are just running the standard iRacing fixed, which again, chef's kiss, great decision. I love seeing that, especially on something like this. So the drivers just need to settle in, hit their marks, go through, get the car down. And then once you hit that last hour, you hit that especially last 30 minutes, that's where you need to send it. If you bin it with 5 minutes to go, does it hurt? Yes. But the thing is, you've got to try something near the end. Right now is not the time for any big showboat moves. This is the time to just hit your marks and relax. And I think we're seeing that, James, especially as we see the field shift around, spread out a little bit. And we're really starting to see just that rhythm show for all of these drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. Brian in YouTube chat said he has learned lessons, right? He's got 3 lessons here. These cars are not good lawnmowers. That is also true. However, the grass, as we were talking about earlier on. Now, initially, you are right, Brad. It was like ice. It was completely, you're not stopping. But iRacing then turned around on one of the last updates and basically gave the grass and gravel more depth. So now the grass will actually slow you down and will dig you in. So it's bringing a little bit more realism to the simulator, and that is what that's what's happened. So basically it allows them now, not saying run over the grass, but it allows them now to basically have that grass as a buffer if need be. They will get the car stopped. Moving to the outside of the line and braking early is a good idea. I do fully agree with you on that one, especially if you're being lapped. And number 3, I should not try this. Well, come and have a go. It'll be interesting, you know what I mean? And Thomas says, Tyler's trying to get close enough to hit the intimidate button, which happens to be the Y button on the controller. So there you go. We've now just had the GTP leaders of Harkham and Gretsch go once more here. They're battling away, still trying to go at it here. Is it a good idea either way? Which way would you go as Harkham's peeled off and gone into the pits? So Harkham's gone for the undercut. I'm going to try something different here.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that decision, because here's the thing. Those two have been stuck to each other since we dropped the green flag 27 laps ago. So this is, you've got to do something different. If you're not going to get it done on track, you've got to do something to try to mix things up. And I will say, pit in early, try to get that undercut and try to just send it through, do what you can. I don't know, though. We're still fairly early on in this race, this 2 hour, 25 minute race with 1:42 to go. I don't know that pit stop strategy is really how you want to try to win it here. I probably would have stuck with him a little bit longer and just held on behind, because the thing is, if you're the leader, you've got Ben Harkham behind, who's a fast driver. Look at these GT3 cars. I mean, you keep just that consistent pressure, as we're seeing Tyler Merritt do here to Nick. Just keep that constant pressure, that constant reminder of, hey, I'm right here. Make a little mistake. I'm right here. I'll capitalize. It can mess with people, and it can actually mix things up. So just relax, settle down, stay behind a little bit. But, you know, now Harkham's 45 seconds back on Gresh, which is about your standard pit stop time. And now he's going to have to really push these first few laps on his tires if he wants to try to undercut Gresh, or Gresh might even respond this lap. We'll see here as Gresh is coming around out of turn 4. It could go either way, honestly.
He's still going. He's still going. We've still got Tyler now. Has been jumped here once more. He's been overtaken. So Tyler did get overtaken here. I'm probably guessing this is on the run into the Western Horseshoe, which it is. He's going to go on the brakes. He did go in a little bit deep, did Tyler? Turned around. Yeah, too deep there, son. Too deep, unfortunately. McClendon's gone into the pits. These front GT3s are not leaving each other alone at the moment. Ben Harkham is out on track. He's just gone through the bus stop and running down into NASCAR 4. Carl Gretsch is on the infield section, coming out of turn 6 into 7. So we'll see how he gets on and whether or not he goes into the pits this time around. So still action taking place, still good things going on there. So we are just sitting here and enjoying this epic action.
I mean, honestly, too, like sometimes just sitting and enjoying, again, I talked about the Cadillac sounds, just enjoying the act of racing is sometimes really, really worth it. It's really, really fun to do. And nothing beats this mixed class, drivers just sending it through, doing, hard out driving for 2 hours and 25 minutes. You don't get this anywhere else. And again, it's one of my favorite things about sim racing that, yes, running NASCARs is great. Running, the MX5 classes is great. But when you get mixed classes, mixed cars, mixed skill levels, and you just tell drivers to send it for a long time and do what they can, that's where you really start to see the beauty of sim racing come out for me. And yes, I'm a big fan of IMSA and the WEC, if you can't tell. So this for me is just the bread and butter of sim racing. Kyle Gresh into the pits here, and let's see if Ben Harkham did time this right, and maybe those extra couple laps out, can he capitalize? He's coming through the bus stop right now, and I'm wondering, did he space this out right? Has he pushed enough? Or is he gonna come out in 2? I don't. It's hard to tell for me.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Gretsch is still stopped, mind you. He's going to be stopped for about another 3 seconds. He is on the move out at the moment, is Kyle Gretsch. We are waiting for Ben Harkham, who's just gone over the line, coming into 1. I think Gretsch is going to get out, and I think he might get out by a little while here. Harkham's coming through. It's going to be really, really close. We've got Kyle Gretsch there. We've got Ben Harkham. No real difference in time there again, so Ben Harkham did not get the undercut on Kyle Gretsch this time around.
And he actually lost a little bit of time. He was running within about half a second of Gresh, and now he's about a second back. So interesting to see that replay here of Dustin Barton, and I am going to guess that this is going through the West Horseshoe and PlayStation go backwards.
Yeah, unfortunately for that one, I've just had a message from Dustin Barton as well. He is out, partly because his head exploded. So there you go. What's going on with Iris Ashbury in the BLT? He's still running along here, 7th in class at the moment. 1 lap down, I believe, on the leaders of GT3s. 2 laps down on the leaders. But that is also due to the fact that Al Corey terminated Rick Waite right at the beginning on lap 1. Al went not very far and terminated Rick Waite, who was in the car here with Ashby, and unfortunately that is the situation. He got terminated at the beginning. Ben Harkham has caught up to Carl Gretsch and has now gone through, so your lead leader in the GTPs at the moment is Ben Harkham here, Brad.
Ben Harkham, very overdue, I have to say. He's been putting pressure here for the lead off and on for the last 30 laps, last over close to 45 minutes now. And it's good to see Ben Harkham the lead, but I'm curious to see, can he keep that lead? Because Kyle Gresh he showed good pace all the way through. And looking at, their best laps and their last laps, Ben Harkham does have a better lap time for his best. But last lap over, it's been pretty consistent between the two. And one little slip up from Harkham could mean Greshka capitalized. And then, you know, if these two get too racy, what does it do to bring Bradley and Hyatt back in the mix? It could be one little tap sends them both off in the grass, going out of the West Horseshoe or going through the bus stop. And then all of a sudden you've got a three-way GTP battle. And I'm not saying I'm commentator cursing it. I'm just speaking from experience of watching a lot of iRacing.
Yeah, absolutely, fully agree. Tyler Merritt's gone into the pits. That's why there is a 40-second gap all of a sudden. I haven't seen him terminate himself here. I think he just went into the pits, which I believe he did do on lap 26, which is about right, considering that obviously the GT3s have been lapped. So we're going to be keeping an eye on Nick Dwarnick, whether or not he's going in this time around. He is not. He is going in. He's dived into the pits. He's got to get that BMW stopped on the brakes. Now it's all about what Tyler Merritt is going to do. What is his lap like here, Brad? Because he's got to go for it if he's going to be able to take the lead.
He's a little bit back for my liking if this is going to be his chance for the lead. I almost wouldn't be surprised if he pits here too, 40 seconds back. And I mean, he's got good pace, but again, I think 40 seconds is a little too far back, depending on what that BMW of Dwarnick is doing in the pits. Honestly, it depends on how long he's stationary. We're coming out of 4 here, a NASCAR 4 going onto the front stretch. And as we come around, he's just starting to roll. Dwarnick is. It might be closer than I thought.
I think it is, because there is Merritt. He's coming out now. Oh, don't do it. No. That's going to lose it. I think he might get it. Oh, no. That one deep turn one. That's where he lost it. I think he would have got that if he hadn't gone deep into turn one and that GTP hadn't decided that he wanted to get involved and go into that. And that was McClendon there as well, who's 3 laps ahead. Sean Bradley looks like he's just had another moment on the racetrack. Bradley here as well. Please don't be turn 1, Brad. Nope, coming out of 6, he's going to spin that back end up. There you go. Too many beans on the loud pedal, and unfortunately for Sean Bradley, you can't do that coming out of turn 6, buddy, because that is exactly what happened.
Yeah, we're starting to see, I think, a little bit of that driver fatigue slip in here and there. And we're starting to see just these little silly errors. The Porsche. Rexy, what have you done?
Well, Cameron Kane, I can tell you what he's done. He's done this. The only trouble is, was it all on his own? Or did the leaders of the GTP get through here? Just. And that was Cameron Kane, all on his own. Again, in that famous, fabulous turn 1.
I think he was trying to drive in his rearview mirrors. And I'll tell you who's driving in the rearview mirrors right now. That BMW there around the outside, because he's got 2 hungry GTP leaders in the background. And there's Harmon. And Harmon is going to be under some pressure here, even though it's mixed class. I mean, this GT3, get out of the way, says Ben Harcum. Ben Harcum wants to go. Kyle Gresh flashing the headlights saying, hey, I need to go through too. Do not compromise my run here for a race win here in this inaugural run of the Triple Bypass Racing League's GT3 GTP run. I mean, man, this is close racing here at the front of the field.
Absolutely. The fact that they're still together is massive in general. Iris Ashby, just a quick update for you, gunman there as well. He is in the pits. He unfortunately looks like he's having a little bit of an internet issue at the same time, so I'll try and stay off him, because I have seen that crash not only my iRacing, but the commentator's iRacing that's with me at the same time. So we don't want that, because that will then end up turning into a radio broadcast rather than a picture here as well. So we'll stay off a little bit of Iris Ashby until they can get that sorted out. Rick Waite has taken back over the car again in the BLT, to let you know. John Campbell is in the pits. Robert Freiberg, make that decision. That decision is easy. Left-hand side, lift off. Thank you very much. Allowed him to go through. Good job. Well done. You will win an award, and it is a James Parfitt cuddle for doing your job as a GT3. So there we go, Brad. Come on, you want a cuddle as well, and you know it.
I was going to say, I didn't know we were giving out cuddles. If I'd known that, I would have asked what I can do as a commentator to win one. Well, that sounds nice and warm.
Yeah, it's all warm and snuggly, to be blatantly honest. But I'd have to send you round to Robert, because he's in America and I'm in the UK. It's a long way for me to travel just for a cuddle. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Yeah, well, it is. It's It's a long way, innit? You know what I mean? I've got to be a little bit sensible. Can't go that far. I offered a cuddle out last night as well to, unfortunately, Jaden, who was in the Xfinity Series. Had a bit of a rough one, was involved in more spins and accidents than he cares for, imagine. So I did say to him as well, does he cuddle? And yeah, didn't take me up on the offer, so a little bit unhappy. But what can you do? As we're coming now on to lap 33, hour and 31 minutes to go here. Carl Gretsch, Ben Harcum still going at it. Tyler Merrick and Nick Dwarnick not leaving each other alone here either. They are literally glued together like a kid in a sweet shop who wants to buy everything. So for these two, great racing so far. As long as they stay like this, don't do anything silly here, Brad. I think this could be a good one between the GT3s.
Yeah, GT3's proving very, very competitive, which is not something you see all the time in GT3 racing and mixed class racing. Typically, you see good competitive top split and top class, and then that middle class will usually spread out a lot more. You won't see as much. And I know that's something you and me talked about pre-race. We weren't sure with 16 cars signed exactly how close, how wide the racing was going to be, but I'll tell you what, I'm pretty happy with the 16-car field of how they're running. It's a good mix. It's just enough GTP cars to keep it interesting, and then it's a good bulk of GT3 cars, which typically I would say you want more of the lower class cars because it presents that more competitive racing. And again, this series and this race just sets up so well here. This Chattanooga Chew Daytona, 2 hours and 25 minutes. I'm loving it. I'm loving every bit of this racing, and I'm really glad we have an hour and a half left.
My sleep pattern might not be glad we've got an hour and a half to go, but, you know, going to enjoy the racing in the meantime. Tyler Merritt still chasing down here. We've got our 2.5 feet Daytona Corey into the car here as well. He's in the BMW. If you don't know what that's in reference to, basically Al Corey got to about where he is now before he decided to terminate Rick Waite. So that's why he's called that, and that is thanks to Brian in YouTube chat who come with that one. So we're going to run with that, and we're going to say Al 2.5 feet Daytona, or 2.5 Daytona. How can you put that in a nice way?
Daytona 2.4? Yeah. Daytona 2.5?
Al Daytona 2.5 Corey. That way?
Yeah, I think that could make sense.
Yeah, that could make sense. However, what didn't just make sense there as well is the fact that Kyle Gretsch went deep into turn one, and he's managed to lose nearly a second now over to Ben Harcum for Gretsch. So he's got to be looking at getting back on it here as well. Tyler Merritt's also losing time. Nick Dwarnick is now out at 8 tenths. All the others a little bit more spread out. Dustin Bartlett's decided to terminate this after his head blew up because he got so angry with himself. He has decided to move out. Al Corey's in the car. Rick Waite is in the car. JC's still going in that Lamborghini. He's joined back in, of course. He is a couple of laps down on the people in front of him. Robert Freiberg has just basically had a steady race, never really seen many people from the beginning, and is just pottering around in 6th place. Same with Grant Parker, today's sponsor. Much love to him as well in that 43 car, who has gone and sponsored today's race. So much love for Grant there, and that's why we are here in the booth, due to this wonderful young man who's done an absolute stellar job sponsoring this evening's racing. So much love to Grant on that one. Sitting in 5th overall, had a steady job. Cameron Kane, obviously bar is one incident in that Porsche on lap 28 for the GT3s, who went round in turn 1. Bit of a mirror driver and ended up getting wrong. Matt Harmon in the Ford is sitting in 3rd. He's 52 seconds back from Tyler Merritt and Dwarnick up the front. Doing a great job again. We've discussed his just as I give Robert Freiberg a big up. He goes and does that. Hyatt has also gone round. Too much beans there, buddy. You're going round, unfortunately. Thank you very much for that. He's spinning more times at a ballerina in Swan Lake. Off you go. Take care. Have a nice one. Where do I buy tickets? Robert Freiberg here, unfortunately, going into the bus stop. He's hit the curb on the entry. I can probably near enough guarantee that. On the right-hand side. Not that one. Oh, he didn't. He lost it on the way in. And that was a big impact from Robert Freiberg there as well. That would have put the Frighteners up anywhere. Here as well as we jump on board. You can see this back end of this Mercedes on the brakes, buddy. You should have been on the brakes. Nope, too late. Enjoy that. That's going round, and boom. So unfortunately for Robert Freiberg, that has now put him into pit lane. I think he jumped directly back. No, he did manage to get the car there. Tyler Merritt, Nick Dwarnick have not left each other alone for the whole entire race there as I carry on with my update here, and these guys have done a great job. Tyler Funstick Merritt chasing down Nick Dwarnick. Steve McClendon has had a steady race in that Jack Daniels Cadillac and has potted around in 4th place. Sean Bradley has had his fair share of spins, one of them being on lap 7 in turn 1, one being on lap 31 in turn 6. So unfortunately there he's had a bit of a trip round. Carl Gretsch and Ben Harcombe, as you know, because we've been watching them quite a lot, have been very close together throughout this race. So hopefully that's your update when we go into the final hour and 26 minutes. Do you think switching in and out cars is a good strategy for a long race like this? I would probably say no, due to the fact that obviously you lose time on a driver swap situation, whereas the solo driver will not get punished in 30 seconds because he doesn't have to. One of the rules they could have brought in is they have to wait 30 seconds in the pit box, but that is, again, is going to increase the fact that you are going to have to run with live stewarding. So I think overall, I wouldn't say it was ideal. I would have said possibly that one of the rules you could have had is no solos, minimum of 2, depending on what your turnout is. If you didn't get the turnout with a minimum of 2, you could have run solos only, so you would have been doing it solo. But I think at the end of the day, you really need to look at what's best there, Brad. I think that's going to be the best way, and what rules to implement. But as you say, it's their first road multi-class, so it's all a learning curve as it's going along.
Yeah, just as you were doing that race update, aside from watching the Mercedes absolutely eat a wall for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I was kind of looking over some of the rules of the race and rules of the teams and kind of see how their setup is and some of the things they implemented that I like. And one of the things that I do like is that the teams get between 1 and 3 drivers at their discretion. So, and the races aren't that long. 2.5 hours is fairly long, but it's not the longest thing ever. And that, Alcori, sir, it's a left-hander there. And then, the Jack Daniels GTP almost hitting him there as well. That about turned out a lot worse than I thought it would. And I think he's probably going to have to pit.
Ow.
Woo. Ow, sir.
Ow, where you going, buddy? How did you not... hold on a minute. How did he not see this turn? He's done this turn enough. Did he just brake? You're not changing. You need to get down into second. You're not. No. You didn't.
I wonder if that. I almost wonder if that wasn't like a issue with a paddle or something or a gear shift, because it seemed like he was trying to shift down, because as soon as he hit the barrier, it kicked into second. So I've got to wonder, as we watch, that is a cluster that is happening right there. That's a good cluster of cars. And you've got that GTP in the mix, and he just wants out of the middle of these GT3 cars. That's Bradley right there in the 77. Sean Bradley just wants out of this mix of GT3 cars as fast as he can before he hits the horseshoe. And looky there, the 43, the 37, Parker and Freeberg, they are going to keep each other very, very accountable for a minute, even though there is a lap between those two.
Yeah, they are. Parker's got a lap up on Freiberg at the moment as well. Nick Dwarnick, Tyler Merritt backwards and forwards here. So there we go. Nodge should have run this. Should have ran it, as in Nodge. He is running it, isn't he? Oh, no, he's not. John the Nodge Cotchley is not running it, no. Thanks, Grant, for sponsoring the race. Yes, thank you very much, Nodge. So much love to you. That would have been interesting. And send out search and rescue. I think if anybody had a replay, I'm going to save the replay, and maybe we could do a little, Benny Hill themed tune to Al Corey or something. He's having a bit of a dreadful time here in that BMW. Just didn't get it stopped and ended up getting the barrier. So yeah, you need to change, mate. It's all a blip. Change it down, because you're not going to get it stopped any other way. Let's jump on board and see if he can get it right this time around for Al Corey, and see if he can stop it here as well for the SRB Racing team there. So well done, Al, on that one. And is he going to be able to get this corner correct? Right, brake now. Down. Get it set. There you go. Oh, Good boy, Al. I'm proud of you. As he goes off and on his way there. So well done, Al Gorey. That's what he should have done the first time. I just don't think he got it down. And now we've got old JC. Oh no, not the same corner.
Turn 6.
Yeah, through turn 6 onto 7. He ain't stopping that. Round you go, son. Thank you very much. And then getting tagged in the meantime from the Porsche of Chris Kane. So yeah. Right, Ben Arkham is in the pits again. He's obviously ahead of Carl Gretsch and is gone in once more here as well. So yeah, all going off at the moment. 1 hour 21 on the clock here, Brad, and I think at the end of the day, they're all still doing a fabulous job.
Yeah, and we've had a couple moments off and on here and there, but it's quite clean racing. Other than our Mr. 2.4 at my side turn 1. Oh, James. Oh, I could sense the tensing there. I think I don't think that was a certified code brown. I think this horseshoe is about to be a certified code brown because the GTP is coming out of the pits and is going to want to clear them as fast as possible. Who is that just came out? That's Harkham, right?
Yeah, Harkham on the pits there as well. If you're wondering how we know that, it's A, by the livery, and B, on the right-hand side, the box on the right-hand side is in for a relative, so it tells you who is around. The little red dot tells you who we are on, okay? So we have the red mark. There we are on Dwernick. We know we've got Merritt behind us. We've got Harkham in front. That's going to swap to weight as Harkham clears weight going around NASCAR 2. So that, again, will move. So if you're wondering what the box is giving you, that's the information it's giving you. Gunman 1942, I do love this, and I can imagine an American doing this in his best accent here as well. Your commentary is quite spliffing. Thank you, sir.
I will not be giving you the satisfaction of saying that in any sort of an accent. So,
oh, come on, you lovely American individuals always do it, and for some reason, you always do an English accent like we are all posh. And I never fully understand. It's like we're Jeeves, the butler, or something, the way you do it. And why do you always go, would you like more tea, sir? And you've got this wide mouth on you. And I don't really understand it. I think you need to do some research on how we speak up here. There's Tyler Merritt going once more over Nick Dwarnick, trying to run that outside line down into turn 1. You've got to be very brave there, sir. I can tell you that much. Dwarnick has let him through. He ain't stopping. He's going to run wide again. Is he going to be able to get it? Hold on. Oh, Rick Waits just come back on. Oh,
gosh!
Rick!
That!
Rick, the car gives you 4 mirrors, sir. Gee whiz, Batman. How many you got in there, Rick? You got your reverse one, you got 2 on the sides, and you got your rear view, buddy. Come on. Oh, blimey. That could have been a little bit more dangerous. Let's have a look and see what Rick done. He ran in too deep into 1, and he's taking a different line. Stay out of the way. Don't do that. That's that. I don't know if there was actual contact there either, because of the fact that you see the sparks coming off Tyler Merritt's car. I just want to try and. Where's your nose? There he is. Did we hit? Oh, we were. Oh man. That was like a 1-yard line rush over there, and that's how close we were here as well. I don't know why I decided to bring an NFL pun going into that one, but yeah, just forgive me on that. As Carl Gretsch is coming out the Western Horseshoe and down through turn 6 and 7. Gap starting to spread a little bit. The front 2 of the GT3s are the close ones. We're going to see it's going to be whether or not Gretsch is going to go in and how close Harkham's going to get. They've got a gap of about 45 seconds at the moment. That is due to the fact that Harkham pitted on lap 39. Ooh.
Harkham, a little bit of a snap of the rear end there out of turn 1, holding on to it as best as he can there, James. Man, he's got to push it a little bit here if he wants to get back around Kyle Gretsch. Kyle Gretsch showing amazing pace all the way through this race.
Yeah, the thing is, for Ben Harkham, you want to make sure that you're catching these cars in a completely safe space, i.e., let me rephrase that, a place that's not going to slow you down on the racetrack, right? He's not letting you through. He ain't letting you through. Cameron Kane, we might need to have a chat, dear sir. Come on, make it obvious. You weren't obvious. Kyle Dewey, is GTP car faster than the GT3 or are they all fixed? Kyle, the GTP is considerably faster than the GT3s, but they are all in fixed setups, which doesn't reduce the speed of the GTP. It just means it's a standard setup for this car and this particular track. Okay, so yes, GTP is considerably faster. We'll give you a rundown of how fast. I'll bring the dashboard up. As you can see here as well on the right-hand side, the GTPs are currently hitting upwards of 180, 184, 185, 186, still going up and up and up and up and up and up. 194, 195 into turn 1, round about 196, touching on 197. Now, if we bring that into context of the 7th place man, JC Campbell, he's doing 167, 168 coming into the same part of the track. So they're a good 20, maybe 30 miles per hour slower than the GTPs. Okay, so that gives you a rough breakdown. Gordick and Merrick back together once again as Ryan Hyatt goes around the outside into turn 1, lap 43, hour and 15 minutes on the clock here, Brad. And yeah, it's been very interesting so far.
It has, and I do want to touch on the pace difference between GTP and GT3. It's not just the speed difference down that main straight. It's also the cornering grip. It's the cornering difference. I mean, look at this right here. You've got that Jack Daniels GTP in the background that's just going to absolutely carve through these GT3s with no hesitation, no issues. I believe that is McClendon there in the Jack Daniels car. I mean, just absolutely carves through the field with no hesitation and is around them in the matter of a corner because he has the grip and the pace advantage, even though he is the 5th place GTP and is 35 seconds off. So we're seeing a difference in lap time of about 15 seconds a lap difference between GTP and GT3s. And it's a pretty considerable gap and pretty considerable time difference, but I'm still going to say I like watching these GT3s race, especially when you've got Nick Dwornik and Merritt here, P1 and P2, that are just very, very close and even on pace and are just absolutely making each other push these cars to the limit.
Yeah, and don't forget, obviously, Tyler Thumbstick Merritt are on the is on a controller. Ben Harcum has jumped Carl Gretsch. Gretsch is a long way back. Gretsch pitted on lap 42 2 laps ago. Harcum on 39 5 laps ago. And Gretsch now is 12 seconds back. But that's got something to do with a 1 minute 14 pit lane time, while Harcum only had a 1 minute 2 last time out. So that's probably what that situation is. You can see it on the left-hand side of your screen. 102 for Harcum, a 114 for Carl Gretsch. That's massive. Tyler Merritt coming in. Cameron Kane is in, and Matt Harmon is on his way out in the Ford as well. So Merritt again pitting a little bit earlier than Dwornik. So we'll see how that one goes as well, Brad. But action all the way through at the moment, doing a stellar job from everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Do we know why there was such a pit lane difference between Harcum and Gretsch?
No.
I wonder if Gretsch maybe just took an extra few seconds, kind of stretched out, relaxed a little bit, because Gretsch is running this race solo. And I wonder if he maybe just had to take a few extra seconds and maybe just like relax his arms, relax his hands, because that's unless there was maybe some minor damage that he repaired real quick. But even then, the drivers have 2 fast repairs per race that they get to use, which some drivers have used very early, some of them in about 2.5 feet, and some drivers probably still have both of their fast repairs. So I really have to wonder, but Gretsch is closing the gap as we go, James. So, it's 12.5 seconds, gap down to 11.5. I think it's going to be okay.
Yeah, I think he will be. I don't doubt that as well. The fact that some of their fast repairs lasted 2.5 feet, that's the bit that creased me up there. So, as well, unfortunately, in reference to Al Corey, who terminated Rick Waite on the way through here. So, yeah, very interesting situation we've got running at the moment. Ryan Hyatt has got a second to Steve McClendon there as well. So, great job from Steve as we can go on board with the purpley lit Cadillac, chasing down the Cadillac of Ryan Hyatt. So a bit of everything going on here as well. Is Ryan the ballerina Hyatt going to be able to hold on once more and see what he's able to do? But as you say, with the difference in speed, it is everything. It's the aero package, it's the whole lot, it's, you know, the whole complete package, and that's why these cars are so where they are in the pecking order of racing. You know, in forms of sports cars, they're right at the top along with the F1s. You know, these are the pinnacle. This is what you really, if you're aiming to be in the top part, this is what you're aiming to do. This is great. And this is what you want to go for, because they have got kind of it all, haven't they? These hypercars, GTPs, LMP1s, whatever you want to call them. They've got kind of a bit of everything.
Yeah, I mean, there's even a hybrid battery system, which is very similar to what you see in F1, that the drivers can utilize to, you know, go on attack, go on defense mode, go into conservation. There's plenty of things that they can do in these cars, plenty of micro adjustments that they can do to make these cars suit them the way they want, even though we are running a fixed setup race. And I have to imagine that McClendon here is probably on the push to pass button right now as we're running down. He's going to look around. How is he going to go? He's going outside here on Hyatt. And can he make this stick? And it does look like going down into turn one. McClendon does have it. No, he outbrakes himself before he can hold on to it. He slots back in here through the going down into the International Horseshoe, and unfortunately for him, he tasted fourth place for all of about 2.5 feet.
It seems to be a natural trend here this evening, about 2.5 feet, doesn't it, there as well? So there you go. On that one, McClendon there doing the job and then getting it all wrong. That back marker is getting it wrong as well, and you're beginning to drive me a little bit crazy, Mr. Parker, here as well, as McClendon does get through over Ryan Hyatt now as well, and the back marker had a big play in that. Nick Dwornik pitted on lap 27. He's now pitted on lap 46, so they're going about 19 laps here. The GTP's lap 39. He's had 3 stops, probably going about 12 laps there as well. Oh, is the GT3 cars have different fuel? Well, yeah, I just gave that to you there on that one there, buddy. So yes, they do. The GT3s can go a little bit longer here as well, rather than the GTPs. But then again, the power difference probably also makes these cars go a little bit longer as well. Where is Tyler Merritt? Because Nick Dwornik is just about coming out here as well. Merritt's on the left-hand side. There's no GTP this time. There's no GTP. Tyler Merritt, send it! Send it!
Oh, come on, Merritt. Send it through.
He still didn't get it. And now we've got a GTP in the mix as well. Both of the drivers going to the right-hand side. The GTP of Bradley going to the left there. Through he goes. And Merritt nearly. He's getting closer, isn't he? Every single time. You know, it's like you're dangling the carrot and you're never quite feeding the donkey. And Merritt's kind of like just trying to nibble at the carrot at the moment, and he ain't quite got it at the moment. So hopefully Tyler Merritt will get it at some point here as well. So yeah, great job from Tyler. Keep it up, son. And let's not forget, he is Tyler Thumbstick Merritt for a reason, because he is on a controller, Brad.
You know, for controller driving, he's doing pretty doggone all right in an Audi. He's in an Audi and he's controller driving. I have to give him 2 demerit points for that. But I'll be here all week. Thank you, James.
Don't really know what to say about that one. The silence probably said it all there, dear sir, I think. But no, that was good. That was good. I like that. I like that as well. He cheats. What, has he got aim assist on the controller, Brian, has he? Or grip assist or something? You know, because I know lovely controllers in other certain games have got a considerable amount of aim assist that does lock onto your head, and before you know it, you're dead. So that's nice. So maybe he's got grip assist on the controller, I don't know. As he's trying to go around the outside again of Dwornik. Again. Get it stopped. You're going round.
Oh, come on, Merritt.
Dude.
It's just hurting me at this point. Like, I know I'm the commentator here. Part of my job is to just talk about what's going on and bring things through, but it's getting painful at this point. He's getting so close time and time again, and my heart is hurting. Because then it's just, he was so close.
Yep. Now, carrot is definitely not being fed to the donkey here as well. Matt, Pete Diddy Perezzini has taken over the Evil Motorsport car as well there. I believe that is the one that he is sharing with Ryan Hyatt on that one. That's quite impressive, the fact that Ryan is in the car with Matt Perezzini. So let me get Mr. Hyatt in here. I want to chat. So there you go. Let me just drop him a message and see if I can get him in the booth, as they're not in the chat that they're normally in. I think they've gone into hiding, knowing that I'll probably want to pull them in at some point here as well. So Matt Perezzini takes over the car. A lot of the cars are starting to get spread out now as well. We did have this battle, but unfortunately for Merritt, he's just gone and done himself there. So unfortunately, he, going to have to start chasing down people once more here, Brad.
Yeah, and the thing is, Merritt's done this enough times that I know he has the pace, and you'll hear me talk about this a lot. It's one thing to catch, it's another to pass, and Tyler Merritt is just proving my point time and time again here across this 2-hour, 25-minute race. With an hour 6 left to go here, we're getting ready to start lap 50, and I mean, it is challenging, and the thing is, I know Tyler Merritt's going to catch up to Nick Dornick again, and then it's just a matter of what can Tyler Merritt do to capitalize. I'm going to give you a hint, Tyler. If you're listening to the stream in the background, please do not try another turn 1 pass. Let's find somewhere else to try this, please.
Yeah, absolutely. He's tried it multiple times, didn't quite make it, and still, unfortunately, now has dropped himself all the way back. If he spins, we call that a Perezzini pirouette, says Brian. Deary me. They're getting worse. Cameron Kane has had a moment in his Porsche here as well. Cameron going into the bus stop. You're far too fast, dear sir. Thank you very much. There, around he goes, and I knew that without even seeing the complete play. So unfortunately for Cameron, there you went in far too quick. What did Iris Ashby do as well? You're going to go into turn 1, hit a curb and spin that BMW. So let's see how Ashby did it. Goes into turn 1, completely disappears, and I'm sure I've had deja vu and seen that before. Didn't he do that last time, if I'm not mistaken, as well? Or was that Rick Waite might have done it that time?
I think a lot of drivers have done that at this point, that I'm getting confused too on who's done what. I mean, I think we are also starting to hit that little bit of fatigue. We're down to an hour left, and it is starting to hit that point where the drivers are needing to really hone in and focus.
I do agree, and this is going to be the tough part, isn't it? Because it's not only just their driving ability that starts coming into question. You know, their tiredness as well. And now I'm going to bring in Ryan Hyatt here for a chat. Ryan, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm so pleased you have survived today.
Oh, yeah.
Matt,
There's a couple of instances, but...
and also, Matt didn't get hold of you like he said he was going to from yesterday.
Not quite yet.
Not quite?
Nah. I mean, I don't know if you saw what I posted in the late model chat, but, yeah. So he was kind of a little mad earlier.
Oh, I have not watched that yet. I'm going to have a watch of that as well. I can't watch it now because obviously I'm busy doing this wonderful work thing that people don't quite get or understand what I do. But listen, how are we getting on here? How's Matt going to be doing?
I think he'll just be consistent. That's how he's been when we've been practicing for the 24. This, I think, might be one of his first times dealing with traffic, so we'll see how he does with that.
Well, we're going to find out very shortly because he's got about 6 GT3s in front of him at the moment, so this could be very interesting. And see how he gets on there as well. Brian in YouTube chat, Ryan, hi yeet. That's what you said. So there you go. How is it out there for you, buddy? What's it like? You know, we spoke to Sid earlier on, and obviously you guys are all being a NASCAR-related Discord and community. But it's not without a shadow of a doubt. I'm not being rude there. How was it for you in these cars? Because you're in the faster car as well, being able to turn right at the same time.
It was fun. To me, this was a lot easier to drive than a GT3. Felt like I had more side force. But overall, I like this track. I've ran the 24 once before and ran an 8-hour stint that time, and I'll have, I think, a 6-hour stint next weekend. So that'll be interesting. But overall, it felt pretty good and was fun to drive.
Yeah, you're not doing 6 hours all in one go, are you? You're going to break that up.
Yes.
Right? What, you're driving 6 hours non-stop?
Yep. 1 in the morning my time till 7 in the morning.
Why would you want to do something like that, Ryan?
Well, I can give the other guys rest that way. And that way they're all good to go. And where I've got a storm chasing page, then I kind of am used to staying up all night anyways sometimes for that. So I figured, well, I'll let the other guys rest. I'll take a nap in the afternoon on Friday and see how we're doing, and then go at it all night.
Okay.
I like that.
I don't like that. I think that's absolutely ludicrous. I think
Hold on. James, what time is it for you right now, James?
3:30 in the morning.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but hold on a minute, right? Don't even go there, young sir. I'm doing a service to the community of TBP here as well. So that's my excuse. And the fact I'm very much like Ryan, I stay up pretty much late anyway on that one. But listen, Ryan, what's the ambition? You're in 5th. Do you think you can catch Harkham in front of you, or McClendon's really the person you're chasing, aren't you?
Ooh, hang on, someone just spun out. Okay, Matt, safe.
Ashby. Ashby's coming out of the pit lane.
It just depends. I think that if he can get some clean laps, then he can do it. But it's all about how he gets through the traffic, because I found that I was catching traffic at the worst parts, like right at the entry to the bus stop, and it just was not ideal on my end. But whenever that kind of made me nervous. Whenever I would catch them at the right times, or I would get a clean lap, then I was doing pretty decent. So as long as he stays consistent, I think Matt will do fine. He might be able to catch Sean. I don't have telemetry pulled up, so
Sean's just leaving the pit lane, and Matt's not.
Ooh.
Matt's just coming through the bus stop.
Go, if you want, go watch Matt come off of the infield there.
Yeah, I just watched him on the bus stop there. It was a little bit dangerous. So okay.
Him coming off the infield, he about double crossed. That was wild from the cockpit view.
He's done a great job there, Ryan. Well, buddy, thank you so much for joining me. Enjoy yourself here. We've got 59 minutes, mate, and we'll look forward to seeing where you end up.
Yep, that'll work.
Man, take care, bud.
Y'all have a good one too.
Well, there you go, Brad. Ryan's in high spirits. Doing a great job here as well. We've got 59 minutes left on the clock. Stellar run so far from all of these guys. Everybody keeping it on track, which is great. The gaps have been opened up due to some little bit of a crazy mistake. Harkham and Gretsch, we're expecting Gretsch in, pitting on lap 42, 53, 54, round about 55 here. He's going past Tyler Merritt at the moment with frantic light flashing. So I do expect him in very, very shortly. If not this lap, possibly the next lap. He seems to be on a 3-lap run over the Harkham car, which went in on lap 50. So it should be this lap here. Ashby's had another horrendous spin in turn 2 as well. And unfortunately for Iris, it's not going well in that BMW. Carl Gretsch should be in. This should close up the GTP field again, Brad.
Yeah, I'm looking at this GTP field and just looking at gaps and seeing things. And Harkham is within 40 seconds of Gretsch, and I think that's good for Harkham, especially if Gretsch is going to pit here soon. Is we're predicting next 2 laps. I do think that's going to set up very, very well. And Kyle Gretsch, that was beautiful. Good read on that. Good pass through. Wow. I liked when we were interviewing there a second ago, and we were watching and asking him, and he was talking to us, and then something would happen with Matt there in P5, and he would just go, oh, and just completely forget the interview. I love it when you can tell drivers are committed to their team and go through. Kyle Gretsch, in this lap, question mark, and will Ben Harcum come out ahead of Kyle Gresh? That's really what we're looking to see here. 57 minutes left to go. James, I didn't even realize we were within an hour left.
It's flown by here as well. Thomas, in answer to your question, the pit stop time, the actual time in the pit box has been around 20 to 22 seconds. Okay, overall pit lane times are varying from 58 to a minute 2. So that will hopefully give Tyler a bit more of an idea. Poor old Ashby has had a little bit of a mare. I'm not quite sure what's gone on here as well. Same turn 2. You're not braking early enough. If you're going in there at a rapid rate of knots, you are not braking early enough, and you're going to do that again. That is literal deja vu from the last one. Now we're going in again. He's gone off at the bus stop here once more as Ashby. Hopefully this will show us and tell us why you're going to just too quick. You need to be on the brakes a lot earlier for Iris Ashby there as well, because otherwise he's just going to keep putting that car into the wall every single corner as well, Brad. That's what he's got to do, isn't he? He's got to brake earlier.
Yeah, and I think it's just a matter of overdriving the car, especially this late in. Because Ashby's been doing good, but I do think he's just hit a wall and he's overdriving the car and just doing a little too much there in the car to try to eke out that time. You know you're 4 laps down. You know you're in P9. You don't want to finish back of your class. But the thing is, you don't move up by asking too much of the tires, by trying to do too much. You've got to back it up a little bit and just run it. And that is, I think, what really separates these drivers. And it's a hard lesson to learn. Me sitting here in a chair and talking about the racing, it's so easy for me to say, hey, you're overdriving the car, calm it down a little bit, bring it down 1/10, 2/10 a lap, and you're going to be just fine. It's one thing for me to say it, and it's another thing to be the driver in the seat and practice it. Because the thing is, I say it every day. Every time I hop behind a GT3 car, I can tell you my first lap out, I do the exact same thing that Ashby's done.
Yeah, Matt Harmon has done something here as well. In the Ford. Oh, turn 6. Too quick. That back end's coming round, son. There we go.
Oh. The GTP about had a Ford for breakfast.
Yeah, definitely there as well. Who was that GTP at that moment in time, to be honest?
I think that was Bradley.
Who was the GT3? Oh, it was not Bradley. Was it Bradley? It was Bradley. Yeah, let's have a look at that from Bradley's cockpit point of view, and we'll see how much room he actually had here. As I've gone to the wrong incident once more. No, it's that one. There you go. We'll see what Bradley saw here as well. Looked to be a very, very close one, didn't it? I think for Sean Bradley, he's just going to be going to have to be a little bit careful. What is going on here?
I was going to say, is this the same incident?
Should be. So there's Harmon.
So maybe it's not Sean Bradley. No, that's Gresh. That was our GTP leader behind. I just caught a look at the hood.
Oh, he just goes round. Yeah, very, very close. Gretsch is into the pits now. Harcum's jumped him.
Harcum has jumped him.
Yeah, but
how much though?
Well, it's out at 6.5, 7, 8. Gretsch needs to get out of that pit lane. He can't. He's at a speed limit until the green cones. Still on a speed limit, 10 seconds. Roughly 10, 11 seconds. So for Kyle Gretsch there, unfortunately, very, very difficult situation. Kyla Dewey, great job on the commentary last night on the Xfinity race. Thank you very much for that. It was a pleasure to do. I've got to be honest, I did enjoy that one last night. It was full of some action and some comics and random commentator puns, but it was very, very interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. I enjoy Xfinity racing. I enjoy NASCAR stuff. Of course, you know the primary majority of my time is road course commentary and F1 style commentary. So getting to go to my American roots, my nice Southern American roots, and commentate NASCAR is very, very relaxing for me and fun. And of course, getting to commentate with you, James, is so much fun.
Hey, you know what I mean? It's always a pleasure, bud. I don't mind. This is why I do this job for a living. because oh no. Oh no. These two have had a coming together. Freiberg's going to spin. Perezzini's going to hit him. Oh, he does.
Oh, that was ugly.
Matt. I'm sorry, dear sir. Where do you think you were coming from? Like, I know there's privilege and all, but that's a little bit far back there, buddy. A little bit far back, I've got to be honest. I know he's going for the gap, but that was a little bit crazy.
Yeah, that was a little bit brave, and that's one of those things that we talk about with that, mindset of the car. We went on a long 15-minute conversation about it earlier, and I'll kind of touch on it here for just a moment. But it truly is, when you're that back marker car, be predictable. And when you're that GTP car, it does hit that point of you've got to watch what you're doing, and you've got to pass in a way that makes sense. Use the brain. Your race is not going to be compromised, especially when you're in that position of Matt. You're not going to be compromised there by not getting past immediately. You can stand to stay behind a corner, especially that international horseshoe. You can stand to sit behind for a moment and relax and breathe. You truly will be okay for just a moment. And I think he just got a bit too brave there and just held on. Kyle Gresh, though, is a driver that is getting every ounce out of that GTP car. He's been smooth. He's been strategy with it. I'm just going to say it, he's been a sexy wall trip with placing that car right, getting the most out of it. I mean, he's already got the gap down to 8 seconds here against Ben Harkham. He is truly getting the most he can. And part of that is he's on fresh tires. That does help a bit, but man, he's doing well. He's doing everything right here. And I'd love to ask Kyle Gresh what his experience is with these GTPs beyond what he's doing here in Triple Bypass. How many races has he ran? How familiar is he with these GTP cars? What all has he done in them? Because he's showing that racecraft that you truly get from racing time and time again, James. He's doing a great job. 50 minutes to go. I think it's going to come down very, very close between him and Harkham.
Yeah, Merritt's in the pits here as well. Tyler Merritt has gone into the pits. There he is. So he's really wants to be coming out, Thomas, about now. Get him out now. There you go. Good job from him. Round about 21.5 seconds. That's probably round about the average of what everybody else is doing. It's now going to be Dwernick, who pitted on lap 41. We're now on 59. He's probably going to go maybe another 2 laps here before he ends up coming in at the same time. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting, I think, in the front of the GT3s. I think this might bring them very, very close together. Kyle Gretsch is closed down on Harkham now, Brad. He's about 7.5 seconds behind him here, considering he was 10 when he came out the pits.
Yeah, he's really pushing time through. And I've got to wonder, as far as pit stop strategy goes, since we've got these offset pit stop strategies now that we're seeing, we talked about it earlier, tires are not a problem. These drivers get unlimited tire stops. So every time they pit, they put on a fresh set of boots and send it. But I've got to wonder if Gresh offsetting his pit strategy from Harkham wasn't a strategy choice. So that way he can try to stretch out to just one more pit stop, put on some fresh boots right at the end, and absolutely send it through. Because you can see the gap here isn't that bad. I mean, it's a pretty considerable gap, but 6.8 seconds with 48 minutes to go is really nothing. And as we go, I'm anticipating everything closing up. And again, if we have that offset of a few laps of pit stops, Kyle Gretsch is going to be in a great position by the end of this race to be going for that overall win in GTP.
Yeah, I do believe so as well. They're going to have to make at least one more, though. He's going to have to make at least one more stop for Kyle Gretsch now. He's got to get on his boots here as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does and whether or not he does make it and tries to close that gap back up. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting one here once more, as they've got Sid Kashishian is now in the car in front in the BMW. Don't go and dive him, Carl. Don't wreck it all in one go. He's gone around the outside. Good job for him. And good job for Sid for keeping out of their way there as well. Brian, synchronized pirouettes, he's put in YouTube chat there in reference to Matt Perezzini. and Robert Freiberg. So a lot of action taking place here as well. I'm going to grab hold of Al Corey, or Al 2.5 feet Corey, should we say, and have a quick chat with him if he allows me. I'll drop him in the stream room just so he's aware that he's coming down for a chat, and then I'll pull him into the booth. He's just handed the car off to Sid Kashishin in the BMW here as well. Not a great start for you, Mr. Corey. I think we need a chat there, sir. How are you?
What's going on? I'm hysterically blind from lap 1.
Oh, are you? What, did you miss the brake marker altogether, or did you forget that you were turning left?
Yeah, I thought we were on the oval portion of that track, so when I had to turn in like that, it really surprised me. Look, I had no excuses. I just blew it, and boy, did I blew it big.
If you're going to do it, mate, you might as well go down swinging, and you definitely went down swinging with Rick Waite at the same time.
Yes, I've sent my apologies to Rick. Also, when I took over the car for my proper stint, I promptly hit the barrels in turn 6,
yeah.
and or was it 7? And I think 7, and cost us our second fast repair. So Sid is finishing up this business with no fast repairs and only a few incident points left.
What, out the 120 or the 70, Al?
Is that right?
Yeah,
is that right?
You got 70 to play with before a drive-through, and then you got 120, I believe it is, for a DQ, if I'm not mistaken, is it?
Well, that's easy sailing for Sid. He's doing a great job. I'm brand new to road racing, as you probably have guessed already, and no excuses, but I'm trying to learn my way through it, and I learned some hard lessons tonight.
Yeah, I think one of them is obviously be aware that the track goes left. Be aware that obviously you want to brake and change down gears a lot earlier going into turn 6 where you did hit the barrels. You've learned quite a lot. It's been quite a learning curve for you this evening then.
Yes, that's very kind of you to point that out, James.
That's okay. I've also like to point out Brian Cooper has nicknamed you, unfortunately. It might have stuck as Al 2.5 feet Corey, because that's about as far as you went at the beginning.
I'm going to pull a better one here from the YouTube chat. We had P. Diddy. Now Al can be 250.
That sounds like something Matt Parasini would say.
No, it's Brian Cooper, actually, bringing him up.
Oh, Brian again. Well,
you're going to have to go with
Well,
Brian.
Anyway, how's it going for you fellas? Are you making it through this late night?
Oh, I'm surviving. It's absolutely amazing. Do you know the good thing is for me, Al, is I don't actually have to leave my office for anything, right? Because my beautiful wife, she bought me a coffee machine for Christmas. So I've got a coffee machine, and then my mother-in-law bought me a mini fridge. So in my office at the moment, I've got a coffee machine and a mini fridge. So I'm surviving on lattes, and I don't actually have to go anywhere else to get a cold drink, Al. So it's all I need now is the bed, and I can just sleep in it.
I was going to ask you, do you have a cot there? I think you might.
No, I've got a very large buffet that I could have a sleep on, but I don't think that's going to be very good for me.
Is that where you had a nap when you missed that race of ours?
No, mate, that was just purely because of the fact that I set the alarm for the... Do you know what? I look back over that, and I set the alarm for the wrong day. I set it for 24 hours later. However, the following day when I didn't have work at 2 o'clock in the morning, my alarm went off at 1 o'clock and tried to wake me up. So,
well, see, I had to give you something back after giving me all that hard time about my rookie driving skills.
Hey, I'll take it on the chin, son. I can tell you that much. It's all been fun here, buddy. It's been quite an enjoyable night for me and Brad, to be fair. We've sat here, we've waffled on, we've got through it. We've seen Iris Ashby, unfortunately, just go and terminate his BMW into the tyres. So that wasn't a good idea. But all in all, yeah, what is it then for you, Al? How did you turn around and wake up one morning and think, do you know what, I'm going to sign up for that GT3 series?
Well, I have to give credit to Kyle Gretsch, who has been slowly but surely pushing me to the dark side of road racing. And he ran some beginner races over the fall period and over the holidays. And, I quite like trying something new. I've always hated road racing, really hated it, but that's because I've only ever driven stock cars on road courses, which are a nightmare. So to have a car that has grip and is able to actually take a turn without flying off the track, it's brand new to me. And in fact, I'm under driving the car in a lot of places because I don't trust the grip yet because stock cars don't have it.
No, and to be honest, whoever puts NASCARs on road courses, you need stupid in general. You know what I mean?
I agree. All these years, I've just loathed road racing, but even though I'm rubbish at it right now, I'm actually enjoying driving these road cars.
Yeah, and another good road car as well, Al, that I got in the other day was the FF 1600 or something. It's like a little go-kart open wheeler. That's fun to drive. If you want to have a go on that and go and bang that around a racetrack, it's great to drive that, mate. I've got to be honest, I had the most fun in that car I've had for a long time. But look, hopefully, Al, Sid can drag you forward a little bit. You are a lap down on JC. However, JC did start, I think he started 2 laps down as well, Al, because he had to go into the pits. Do we know what was wrong with JC at the beginning?
He missed the beginning. He missed the start. I assume something in the household distracted him, and he started from the pits a couple laps down. So I don't know what else it was, but yeah, he's a good driver, and he's in a good spot. I think we've got all we're going to get, unless somebody wrecks out. So that's fine. We're not last, and that's okay.
Yeah, you're not. Ashby, unfortunately, was at a well, unfortunately for you, now you no, Ashby's still in the session, so you're still not last. Al, it's been a pleasure as always, buddy, having a chat with you, and I will hopefully might have a chat a little bit later on. We've got 41 minutes to go there, bud. I'll pop you back up with the boys. Have a good one, mate.
Thanks very much. You guys too.
Take care. All right. There goes Al. Corey there, Brad. There's been a few incidents while we were talking to Al. One of them I'm really worried about here as well, and I'm wondering if these two may have come into contact on their own, or what did you do, Ben Harkham, here as well? Oh, you just disappeared on me again. Whoa!
Oh.
Whoa! Hold on.
What was that?
I have no idea. Can I just put it in that manner? Because I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't. I was going to say I saw bits flying, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know if he just disappeared on me and then comes back into the... Yeah, he goes.
And then comes back in, and you can see the car click there. That's a
bit of a weird one.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. I do, James, I do want to point out, never mind, I want to point nothing out, because Matt Parasini has binned it, and I think this is the exit of the pits.
Yeah, he has. I'm trying to find it. Hold on. What did Matt do on a pit lane? How can you... No, Matt, you shouldn't have done this. He's gone out and he's put too much beans through it.
Yep.
And he's done either two things. Too many beans or hit the grass.
Or a little bit of both.
No, he hit the grass. Hit the grass there. And unfortunately for Perezini, good luck getting out of there, dear sir. It is more like a 7-point turn for you as you're coming out. Back you go. He's got no front end on that car, mind you, in the process. He lost the complete front end of that one. As you see, Matt Perezini leaving the pits. I'm pretty sure he probably had to go back in a little bit of his own ta-ta-ta here. The Grant going down into turn one. He's going to spin. You're going in too quick, dear sir. There you go. Around. Stay where you are. McClendon does a great job of getting around him there as well. That was his first one. And then Grant Parker still tucked up in the wall there as well. I figured that he's probably gone and put too much power through and done that. Dwarvnik and Merritt are back together by 3 tenths. This is going to be an interesting situation there as well. So 38 minutes on the clock, and these guys are only 3 tenths back.
And they just lapped Matt Harmon in P3. Interesting to note. So P3 is now a lap down on the 2 GT3 class leaders, and there is not much competition there that I can tell. So it is just a case of hold your breath and see who finishes P1 and GT3. But Harmon and Kane, I think, should be battling it out a bit as well. They're not that far apart from each other. GTP, looking at that 17-second gap between Gresh and McClendon, 36 seconds back to Harkham. But again, 37 minutes left, and even though you see that gap, I don't think that gap is as bad as it seems to be, but we are starting to hit that point where that gap is going to get harder and harder to close on that leader. So things are really starting to tighten up here. I want to mention something, James, that Al said there when we were interviewing him. he hates road courses, or did, because his experience was road courses with stock cars, which you and him share a very similar mindset on, that I think most of the world shares a mindset on. And now that he's in these GT cars, it's much different for him. So, you know, it goes to show, again, he said it himself, he wants to be challenged, and here's a challenge around the outside for P1 between Dwornik and Merritt, and Dwornik will hold on to it there through turn 1. Very, very tight racing here from the GT3 leaders. Don't take your eyes off of this, folks, because this is going to go down to the wire between these two.
It definitely is. I don't think it's going to be done and dusted by any shape of the imagination. These guys are going to fight it out. Is Merritt going to be able to survive here, or is he not? That's going to be the question. So we'll keep an eye on this one and see what happens. Can Merritt get past him? Clearly not the outside of turn 1, though, Brad, because clearly it's not working for him.
Yeah, outside of turn 1, how many times have we seen drivers try to shoot that outside of turn 1 pass and just not make it stick, and it completely ruins their infield section? I mean, I get it, guys. Like, we've got to try it, and turn 1 is typically your good place, but how many times can you do it? Like, how many times are we going to shoot that turn 1 pass attempt? Let's come up with something different. And I know Daytona Road doesn't have that many passing opportunities, but you've got the bus stop, you've got turn 6, you've got the West Horseshoe. Turn 1 just doesn't seem to be clicking for these guys like I think they want it to. And I'll tell you right now, 35 minutes to go, you're starting to hit the end of your life here, all the way around on your energy, your tires, everything. Trying to force that move is not going to end well for anyone.
No, I'm starting to worry a little bit here. Ben Arkham's been into the pits and he went in on lap 63. They're doing roughly 13, 14 lap. Merritt, you're not going to make it, bro. Get it out your way. Get it into the bus stop. Get it into the bus stop. They're doing 13, 14 laps here as well. Gretsch pitted on 56, 66. Really doesn't have to do till lap 70, give or take. I'm starting to think maybe Gretsch might just have to do one more stop and that's him done. It's going to be very close for Carl Gretsch. He's either got to do one more and he's done, or he's going to have to do a little splash and dash right at the end, which could come into Harkham's run in, because on lap 77, Harkham should have to come in again.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very touch and go between those two. Very, very nip and tuck between Gresh and Harkham and McClendon for who lands it where. But, you know, just looking at it, I do think Gresh has that advantage there. And I think Gresh, if he turns down the engine mode and just conserves a little bit, I think Gresh can do it on one more stop. 34 minutes to go.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one here as well. It will be a tough one, but I think he might have to go. It might have to. He's got to come in the next couple of laps. He could end up having to do a splash and dash for Carl Gretsch, giving the win to Ben Harkham. It looks like Robert Freiberg and Rick Waite have had a bit of a moment. I just want to see how this pans out here as well. If you're going to do it, Tyler, do it now. Get him off that inside line. Get him off the inside line. No, he's going again.
What is it about that outside line that these guys like? I mean, he's trying it. He's starting to get there, but these GT3s don't have the grip on the outside line to make it stick. Now, granted, I'll give Merritt credit. He's doing better than I could, but man, inside line is what you need to pass in these road cars.
I think the problem is he's not coming out the bus stop far enough. So by the time he picks up the draft and really starts hammering him down on him, he ends up being there too late. You know what I mean? He ends up being too late and can't make the definitive move. He needs to pick him up coming through NASCAR 3, then go around the outside, and then get him the run on him here as well. I want to have a look what happened to Robert Freiberg here. Unfortunately for him, he had a bit of a moment as he's under the flash of Ben Harkham. He goes into the turn 1 and goes round. So for Freiberg, unfortunately. Rick Waite is a little bit worrying, considering he's only just left the pits. Here, you're going to go on to the marblies on turn 6 there, so that's not going to work either. Yeah, we watch him coming through the bus stop. I don't think... Oh, that's not going to help. It's close enough coming out of this. No, he isn't. And then by the time he picks it up, he's picking it up too late, which the only option then he has got is to go round the outside. He hasn't got any other way to go. So I think it's going to be tough for him here as well. While we've got a brief moment and here as well, we'll give a shout out to our sponsor, the number 43 of Grant Parker. Thank you very much to him for sponsoring this evening's race. Grant is currently in 5th place in the GT3 cars as well. So much love for Grant for sponsoring this evening's race and allowing us to come on board and do the broadcast. Dwarnick and Merritt, see, he again, Brad, he just isn't close enough coming out of the bus stop, so therefore leaving him short by the time he gets here. He's trying to go around the outside of turn 2. Dwarnick could just open up the power. What I would do with Dwarnick now is use Freiberg in front to block him in. Get Freiberg, you kind of want Freiberg on the outside at the moment because he's got to be looking at trying to move out the way. But Dwarnick, he's got to send it up. Freiberg's going to be there. Oh, is he going to play the game? Oh, he's got to block him in on Freiberg's Dwarnick, but I think Merritt might have it. I think Merritt might get this.
Oh, come on.
He got it. And he got it before the cones as well. Tyler Merritt does make it through for the first time with 31 minutes to go. He does make it through here and takes the lead in the GT3. So great job there. Thomas, he doesn't have the power to get him anywhere else. No, but he did just get him down into turn 2 and 6. So, Thomas, you told a bit of a fib on that one. So, but I think... on that case, Thomas, I don't think he was picking up the draft coming out the bus stop fast enough. Ben Harkins has gone into the pits again on lap 71. Oh, I think that's going to be very close. He's another one that's going to be running on the edge of whether or not he's got a splash and dash here. Gretsch has gone in and come back out on lap 70. Oh, both of these. This is going to be tight here, Brad. This is going to be very tight.
Oh, this is going to be such a good battle in GTPs when things settle in. 30 minutes left to go here in this triple bypass race. And, man, I tell you what, Merritt and Dwarnick have been keeping my attention the whole time. Because now, 30 minutes to go. And remember, boys and girls, it's not about where you start. It's about where and how you finish. And now, 30 minutes left to go, and Tyler Merritt finds himself in a very good position. And Nick Dwarnick finds himself being the chaser and not the chased for the first time. He's got the hard job here to make a pass stick, but I know Nick Dwarnick has a good pace, though, and it's just going to be a matter of can he set up the pass here for the lead of this GT3.
I think that's going to be the thing. He's obviously got the pace coming out the bus stop. There was clearly something went on down in turn 1 that didn't allow him to go through. They passed each other. No fewer in that passing section that we just witnessed. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 times they passed each other in that brief little moment there as well. That's not 9 times throughout the race. That's 9 times within a few corners here. Dwarnick looks like he's got a little bit more pace coming through the bus stop than that Audi, but he's in the same situation. He's coming out half a second back, so by the time he catches up to him, they're going to be almost in turn 1. Now the draft is kicking in. You can see it now coming down a little bit faster. 4 attempts at the moment, down to 4, down to 3. It's going to be 2 and 1 by the time he gets down into turn 1. And he hasn't got an option to try and bury him either. He's got to get him into and look at getting the exit out the bus stop, Brad. I think that's where we keep picking up on Tyler's mission was to go into turn 1 because he can't get out the bus stop quick enough. Dwarnick now is in the same situation. He's got to get out the bus stop a lot quicker.
Yeah, and it truly is a case of play it smart and play it patient. We've talked about it with GTPs trying to get around GT3s, and now the GT3s need to use that on each other. Be patient and set things up. Don't just try to send it because you see an opportunity. Just breathe. You still have 27 minutes, guys. It doesn't feel like a lot of time, but I promise you it's plenty of time. You've got at least 15 more laps coming your way of this road course. You've got time. Don't do anything crazy and compromise your race, because you send it one wrong way, get on the grass a little bit, and you drop down 10 seconds back. There's your whole chance for that win. And these guys are doing good to show that little bit of patience off as they go. I'm still trying to do fuel calculations on GTP here, and I'm trying to do pit stop calculations, figure out what these guys might be doing. And James, it's kind of baffling me here, and I think Gresh and Harcum might be a little confused themselves. I don't know if this is where they think they want to be or what's happening.
I'm going to struggle at the moment because Bradley's out here as well, but Dwarnick's just got a better run than Tyler. Tyler's got to stop one more time. I think Dwarnick might have to be in the same boat. He pitted 4 laps later. I think he's got to stop one more as well. This is where it should have been. This is how it should have been the first time when we were talking about Merrick and Dwarnick there as well. Merrick's gone in. Oh, that is going to be so close. 25 minutes. He's going in at the 26-minute mark. He's obviously got to get the car stopped yet. He has now gone in. Has he got it stopped now? Close. It's going to be close. But Dornick can breathe a sigh of relief at the moment and get away and concentrate on trying to open up the gap there as well. Thomas, a little pit lane roving reporter there in YouTube chat. Tyler has still had to pit again. Yes, he has just pitted as well. So Tyler should pit, and it could possibly do him to the end of the race. Tell him to fill it up max as he can and give him all he's got here, because he does need to make sure he can get to the end. And he's got 25 minutes by the time he comes out, Brad. It's possible for him, I suppose.
It's going to be real close, and I'll tell you, there's some conversation between race control and Merritt right now. I'm wondering if Merritt didn't catch a black flag there too, and maybe that's why he's pitting now, because there's back and forth between race control, and I'm not sure what it is they're talking about. I see Thomas in chat said black flag killed Tyler. So did Tyler catch a black flag? Has he hit the 70 incident points?
It's either that or he's speeding in the pit lane. As we've got the very, I want to have a look back at the rear here as well. Can I see it? There you go. The very good-looking Perezzini car has got no front end on that car whatsoever, and he's still driving it out on track. Merrick is out, but he's almost going to be a lap down over Dwarnick here as well. He's come out just before him. Let us know what happens on that one, Thomas. But at the moment there, Merrick's just been in the pits for 1:41, and I'm going to put that down to a 40-minute stop and go for speeding in the pit lane.
That is, man, that hurts.
It's killed it.
That hurts. It's absolutely killed it. It's done more than kill it. And I'm going to tell you, if we go to interview Tyler Merritt, I hope you have some sort of a mic cutoff button ready, because Tyler Merritt is going to be hot in that seat. He is not going to be happy. And that's the thing, though. We've hit that point 24 minutes ago. The drivers they've been going all out, and you make one small error like that, and it completely kills your race. I hate to say it, but Tyler Merritt's going to have his fingers crossed that Nick Dwarnick does the same thing when he pits.
Missed the bus stop and got a slowdown. Tried to pit, and it gave him a black flag once he hit pit road. Yes, because he needs to get the time off. You can't go into the pits if you're carrying a slowdown. You need to get it off before you hit pit road. So unfortunately there, that's an all on you, sir. That sounds like a you problem on that one. So unfortunately for Tyler, there's nothing he can do about that. They can't argue it whatsoever. He basically got it because he didn't get the slowdown off before he went into the pit lane, which is what you've got to do. Carl Gretsch is doing a great job at catching up with Bradley here. Bradley's in front in the BMW, the only BMW GTP, mind you. And Carl Gretsch is about 2.7 seconds back. To be honest with you, I'm not sure on the calculations either or where these guys are at. I know if they start looking at coming in with about 15 to 20 minutes remaining, they can make it to the end. So that would be cool. But I don't know where they're sitting in regards to who's got a splash and dash, because I think it's going to be very close here.
Just looking at who's pit when, I would almost argue that the top 4, I would almost argue that, with the exception of Matt Perezzini, because Matt Perezzini pitted lap 61, and I would expect another pit stop out of Matt Parasini. I would argue that every GTP driver is going to have to splash and dash.
Ooh, brave words. Brave words. Is that what you reckon, is it?
I mean, Sean Bradley hit on lap 65, so I mean, he could do another full pit stop and take a fresh set, or he could spin.
Kyle Gretsch.
Man. Kyle Gretsch.
You eager beaver. That was just silly. He dived the car here of Sikashishian. Tried to get through. Little bit of a miscommunication. And unfortunately for Kyle Gretsch there, he goes around on lap 76. Such a shame for Kyle Gretsch. But that's racing.
It is racing indeed. I mean, man, that's almost painful to see. And now he's just got to battle through all of these GT3 cars he'd already passed. He's got to flash them all again and get around them. But, I mean, hey, that's racing. Sometimes it's heartbreaking. 21 minutes to go here. Matt Parasini into the pits. And it does look like he is taking a full pit stop from what I can tell. The BMW there kind of caught me off guard of Parker. I thought for a second that was Parasini pulling out. But no, it does look like that Matt Parasini doing a full pit stop, some fresh tires going on. He goes a lap down, and that should, with 21 minutes to go, I think be his final pit stop.
Yeah, it should be there as well. I wanted to see if he was getting his nose done. I don't mean using the same plastic surgeon as Kim Kardashian. I mean looking at whether or not his nose was going to come and appear back on the front of the car. It did. He obviously had a fast repair remaining for that point. And now he's got a whole complete car there as well. Tyler is good at messing up a good race. Yeah. Unfortunately for Tyler, he was doing a stellar job. And now, unfortunately, Dwarnick, unless Dwarnick does the same, it's going to be all over, I think, for these boys. Tough one all round, I think, for Tyler Merritt on that one.
Yeah, and remember, this is...
Oh, no.
Oh, don't tell me. Parasini, too eager, going through the West Horseshoe, too much throttle on exit, spins it around. My eyes are closed. I don't even need to watch the replay to tell you what that was.
Yeah, cold tires, too much, too excited. Let's just put it that way. I think it's the only way to cause that one. Matt Harmon has also been off the side of the circuit in his Ford there as well, on the horseshoe, over the grass, round you go, spinny, take care of it. See you later. So unfortunately for Matt Harmon, in that Ford, he's also gone round, still maintaining his third place. Dwarnick's now into the pits. Where is... You're not going to get him, Tyler, I'm sorry. You're too far back. Dwarnick's in and stopped. Merritt is coming out of turn 6 and 7. He's too far back. He's not going to get him.
Yeah, just that spin cost him way too much time there. And it's just, there's not a lot he can do at this point. He'll get a little closer, and it might be nice, because if Dwarnick slips up here with 19 minutes remaining, any sort of a small little error, possibly a patented Parasini pirouette, if he pulls something like that, it can bring Merritt back in. But James, I do think that is a nail in a coffin here with the final pit stop for Dwarnick here, as we see the GT3s starting their final pit stops with Freebergen now. I think that might be all she wrote, but GTPs are still confusing me. I keep hitting on the GTPs, and there we go. Sean Bradley into the pit lane, the Canadian, the last dash. And what does he do here? Is this a full pit stop, or is this a splash and go?
It's only got 18 minutes. It's whether or not this man, and this man have all got another pit stop to go. If they all have, it's possible Bradley might be in a good stop. If he can get out 40 seconds or so behind Gretsch, he might be okay. But it really depends on where he comes out. I'm trying to do math, and I just can't, to be honest. Ben Arkham's gone and made it through. McClendon's now in second place. Bradley's on his exit. We'll pick up how far he is away from the leader. Very, very close here as well. Tyler's still short on laps. He's got a splash and dash. Oh, we said Dwarnick's got a splash and dash then. Dwarnick's on lap 69. That's 4 laps. How short is he, Thomas? If you can find that out, we can work out what Dwarnick's got to do. So if Merritt has got to pit again, he is unfortunately going to have to, by the sounds of it, he's got to pit again.
Yeah, it does sound like it, unless he's going to do some hardcore fuel and tire conservation, which, depending on how short he is, Arkham, hold on to it. Good job there, buddy. But depending on where Merritt lands and how short he is on laps, I mean, that could, and it could bring it back in if Merritt can conserve, if he can lift and coast. He might be able to conserve enough fuel. If you're saying he's half a lap short, it could be worth the lift and coast. If you're telling me he's 2 laps short, he doesn't have enough time there. We're 16 minutes out, and if you do that, you can do the math. 1:45 a lap, 1:50 a lap. I mean, it's a lot to go. And Gresh into the pit lane here, James.
Yeah, Harkham's going to get him. You're going to see Harkham coming up the back very, very shortly. There it is, right about. Oh, he's come in with him.
Oh, this mixed things up a lot.
Unfortunately for Harkham, Gretsch has already stopped.
What is Harkham's plan here? Is it splash and dash?
Where is Bradley?
Bradley's going to take the lead.
I don't know if Bradley's got to stop again. He pitted on lap 78.
I don't think he does.
Oh, Perezzini! Oh, Perezzini pirouette taking place in turn 1. Too fast on the entry. Way too... Oh, he's done it again!
Oh my gosh.
He went in at the tyre barrier. He's lost his... well, actually, to be honest, he ain't lost any parts of his car, considering his front and his rear come off there. Perezzini pirouette taking place here. But Sean Bradley... Oh, this is going to be so close. Yeah.
This is...
Carl Gretsch apparently hit the wall on the way out of the pit lane. Oh, he did.
Now the question, I wonder if he got his eyes just looked up at that Perezzini pirouette. But I have to wonder, what damage did that do to Kyle Gresh, and has that cost him any pace? Is that going to cost Kyle Gresh the race? That little error there with 15 minutes to go.
Yeah, McClendon's got to go in. There's not a shadow of a doubt here as well. 69, 81, 79. Within 2 laps, he's got to go into pits without fail. So, yeah, it's going to be a tight one, this.
It is, and reports on Tyler Merritt, he is 3 gallons short.
How much is he doing
finishing
per
the
lap,
race?
though? That's, you know what I mean? Let's be honest. How much is he doing per lap? I'm not on, obviously, board, and I can't see fuel feedings from him. So how many is 3 gallons in conjunction with what's he breaking a lap time on per lap?
It's well over a lap. It's well over a lap. There's no way he can save that. He'll have to splash and dash.
You reckon?
Thomas, correct me if I'm wrong in the YouTube chat, but I don't think he can conserve out 3 gallons.
Depends what 3 gallons is in conjunction with what he's using a lap. If he's using 2.2 a lap, that's like 1 and a little bit, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm trying to think to my fuel flows for racing this track, and my brain is not working with it. I know it's one of those, we're hitting the end of the circle.
2 laps.
It's about 2 laps short.
Yeah, 2 laps short, he said. Thomas did.
And there's no way to conserve that unless he is lifting and coasting everywhere. And even then, that's a tall ask with only 13 minutes to go.
I can tell you he's not. Because he would have had a prime opportunity going into that corner, and he didn't.
Yep.
He didn't lift the coast at all. And I don't think he's going to do it again either, to be honest. Because he could...
You got to wonder...
No, he's full. He's in. Going to go in now. Get it out of the
get
way.
it slowed down.
Get it out of the way, I suppose, from his point of view and from his perspective. which does make a little bit of sense here. Sean Bradley has got a 36-second gap over McClendon in front. Matt Harmon just looks like he has just had another little bit of an incident in his board. Please don't tell me it was with Carl Gretsch, because it's going to be with Carl Gretsch. Side Carl Gretsch instead. So Gretsch did manage to make it through. Merritt is now on his way out, coming out in second, I believe, as Cameron Kane not going to get anywhere near him. Irish Ashby has taken back over the car again for the BLT Racing team, or the Wide Ollie Motorsports team there as well. Not quite sure why I've got two separate feeds, but there we go. And Sean Bradley looking like he's in a bit of a prime spot here, especially with the fact that McClendon has definitely got to stop again.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, we watched Gresham Harkham for most of the time in those GTPs battle, but Sean Bradley has pulled something right in that Lift and Coasters team, or Team Sean Bradley. I don't know why I've got two different feeds myself.
I've got the same.
Yeah, I mean, Sean Bradley might win this thing for GTP. 11 minutes to go, and McClendon has to go through. I mean, 37 seconds gap. If McClendon does a splash and go, might be a good battle at the end. If McClendon messes up any pit strategy, accidentally selects to replace tires, Sean Bradley could come out ahead, and Sean Bradley could have the win in his pocket. It truly depends. He also does have Kyle Gresh just 3 seconds behind, though. So, it's going to be tight in GTP.
Yeah, I do fully agree on that one. It is going to be very, very tight here. We'll see what happens and how they get on, and whether or not they're going to go and into the pits. JC John Campbell's just had a moment, unfortunately for JC, in that Lamborghini. How bad was it, JC? You've just gone through the hairpin. You're in the Western Horseshoe now. Nothing too drastic. He's just gone round in the Lamborghini. Should get that back up and running and underway, and does manage to hang on, does JC, to his 7th place. Sid's in the pits in the BMW. There's McClendon is in. Where is Bradley? Bradley's quite a long way back here. It's going to be very tight here, Brad, I think.
It is, and it truly does depend. Is McClendon doing a full stop or a splash and go? Because if he's doing a splash and go, it'll be a shorter pit stop than about the 40-something seconds we've been seeing. So I'm just watching to see when it says he's going through pit exit, because it's going to be close. It's going to be real close here. He's coming across the start-finish line.
He's on his way out. Bradley's not going to get there.
Oh,
he's
man.
There, he's there. He has literally just come through. Sean Bradley, if you haven't got to stop again, dear sir, you are going to be taking this victory. And Carl Gretsch and Ben Harkham, nowhere to be seen, considering they were the front two through the whole of the race.
McClendon, I think he took fresh tires there. We're less than a second out. So fresh tires 9 minutes ago. If he can get this going, this is going to be a battle. Sean Bradley, how wide can you make a GTP car is my question. And the answer best be as wide as the Daytona International Speedway.
I do agree with you. I think this over the last 9 minutes is going to be very, very interesting here in the GTP class. We would have had this in the GT3s as well, unfortunately for Tyler Merritt, picking up a penalty for not dropping off a slowdown before he went into the pit lane, because they do not pick that up as a penalty as such, to be able to take the penalty off. Sean Bradley now's got to kind of get on his bike. If McClendon has got picked up new tyres, definitely in with a shout here, Brad.
He is, and look at McClendon being smart there, using the slipstream of the GTP that he's going past in order to catch up to Sean Bradley as much as he can. Sean Bradley, you need to have the most picture-perfect last 5 laps of your life. I think, if my mental math is right, they should get 5 more laps in before the end of this race, and maybe 1 less than that. I'm not for sure. It is late for me, and I know it's late for you, James, but hey, here we go, and this is going to be such close racing to the end.
Yeah, it definitely is. You are about right there. There's a minute and a half 3 minutes for 2, 6 minutes for 4, 6, 7. Yeah, should be maybe 7 laps, possibly. I think. I'm trying to do math. I can't. I should really stop. But yeah, no, it could be about 5 laps. Actually, you might be right. But for Steve McClendon, that Cadillac is. He's got that Cadillac very slippery at the moment. Whether or not he's hammering that front accelerator pedal here, or he's not, it's a very slippy Cadillac behind him at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, oh man, this is truly going to be the test of skill, racecraft, everything you can put together. And I think the true problem here for Sean Bradley is going to be that exit of the bus stop or the Le Mans chicane, depending on which way you know it, all the way in that run through the exit of 1. That's truly going to be where Sean Bradley finds himself in trouble. And I would love to know if Sean Bradley is having to do any sort of conservation right now, or is he clear to just send it to the end?
78, 88, 88, 90, 93, or possibly. This is going to be very close between these two. You can see on the back from Bradley now. He's got McClendon tucked up right behind him as these guys coming into the Western Horseshoe before they're going to go on the brakes. What's McClendon going to do for Bradley? He's got to try and stop him. The only BMW in the field. Is he going to show the BMWs? But oh, McClendon's gone and chuffed it.
Oh no!
Yeah, he went and spun it up, coming out of the Western Horseshoe, and then got all out of shape. He's going to have to go again, and he's only got 5.5 minutes, literally, to make up 2 seconds. I think he's done. I think he could be done here. So.
Oh, that hurt me. That was painful. Because now you hit the point that desperation starts to set in. You've had that opportunity. You knocked it out. You've got 2.2 seconds of the gap to make up to the car ahead. You know that you have the pace. You set the strategy up perfect for the win. And you had a chance and lost it. And now what can you do with such little time to make it up? He's got to keep his head together, because if McClendon pushes it too hard, he could absolutely ruin this for him. And again, keep in mind, Gresh and Harkham are nowhere to be found right now.
No, and they were leading all the way through the race. That's the strangest thing, and one of the unfortunate things. Oh, bro.
Does he get it back going straight? Yep. Yes, he. Okay. Piercini Pirouetti.
Yeah.
Just showing off a little bit.
Showing that you can actually do them here as well. Yeah. Bradley's got to try and clear the traffic. Dude, you are a moment of desperation where you've got to clear traffic at the earliest possible convenience here, because I don't think he can hang on. He's got to clear them here, Anthony, and just make that breakaway, because otherwise he is going to be under pressure when it comes to the end of this race. 4.5 minutes remaining. That's going to be about another 3 laps here, guys. Don't go anywhere for the end. This is going to be absolutely incredible ending in the GTPs. If McClendon can bring that lap down a little bit more and bring it down just a little bit more, we'll have to pay and see how he's getting on here as well. McClendon was 1.9 seconds slower over that last lap when he had that incident. We'll see where he's at now, of course. The gap's down to 1.4. Where is he? Oh, he's 7 tenths quicker. 7
that's
tenths.
scary.
And now we've got traffic for Bradley as well. You need to go, son. You need to go. You need Freiburg to let you through at this point. Just take it.
Oh,
McClendon got held up. He got held up.
Oh, he got so held up. Oh, that was almost dirty from those GT3s.
Oh, McClendon got held up there as well. It's going to be very interesting. 1.2 now. It's coming down, Brad, but it's coming down very, very... I don't know if it's coming down fast enough. He's only going to have 2 more laps.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming down, but the thing is, I've said it before and I'll say it again and I'll say it every day in my commentary career. It's one thing to catch, it's another to pass. And if you've got a driver that's desperate to see that first win on the book, Sean Bradley, I know he wants this first win. And we know that Steve McClendon wants the first win as well. You get these two too close to each other. I don't know how familiar everyone is with their IMSA history, but you go one last lunge in the bus stop chicane, and it can take out your field leaders. It's happened in real life, and I'm just saying, art imitates life. Hold your breath. 2 minutes, 22 seconds just passed. They're coming out of Speedway Turn 4, and this is going to be a good one all the way to the end, James. Hold your breath. I think we've got just 2 more laps to go.
2 minutes 10. Yes, we will. One more. And it's going to be all done here for the GTPs. It's 1.1 seconds, another 3.5 tenths. They're pulled out. So he's closing in. It's not going to be enough, though. He needs to maintain that 7-tenth gap, I think, Brad, to basically be able to take this win. Because if he doesn't, he's going to be in trouble. But he's just pulled out an absolute chunk round the first horseshoe. Before we go into the Western one, this is going to be very, very close, dear sirs. We're going to be coming around, starting the final lap in about 30 seconds' time.
Yeah, coming out of this turn 6 here, keep the grip, Sean Bradley. Keep the grip as you come through. And Steve McClendon, put down the rubber, get going here. And you can see that gap staying consistent at about 8 tenths as they go through. So that infield section would have been Sean Bradley's best chance to try to pull a little bit of a gap, keep away. And there's no more GT3 cars that are going to be in their way here to the end. I don't see any GT3 cars coming up for interference that Sean Bradley can try to play on and try to pass and catch Steve McClendon out. So this is truly going to be where it's at. The clock will drop down, so we should see the white flag from Barney the Flagman as we come out of Speedway Turn 4. We're coming around here. 8th place Kashishian will be ahead of them. Ooh, trying to stumble over my words. Will be ahead of them. Will he play factor into turn 1? The light should flash here on the front of this GTP car. You can see that Kashishian is going to stay high here. Sid staying well out of the way. He knows what's to play for. And here we go. Dive up the inside. Hard left-hander here. Sean Bradley. The gap now 1.4. I do think that Sid came in the way there of McClendon. So McClendon losing time there. I said no GT3 cars would play out. And I might have spoke a little too soon. But here we go. And this is going to be where Sean Bradley is going to have to really, really put it together. Hold your breath for another couple laps, folks.
It's not even going to be a couple. It's going to be the final one. Going to be the final one here. Sean Bradley is going to wrap this up, I think. It's 1.8. I think there was a miscommunication between Sid and Steve McClendon there. This was the situation. If you no, it's not. We're a bit far back than that. No, that's where Sid went round. I might do something naughty because I never normally do this, but we're gonna quickly fast forward this one. Sid, come on. Right.
So that's why they caught up to Sid then, because he spun in the bus stop. Otherwise, I don't think Sid would have been a factor.
No, and here comes the GTPs now. This is where the miscommunication starts with McClendon here, I think, as well. It's there. McClendon's taking his line. He just didn't really know whether or not to go through. And unfortunately, that was the result in it. Sean Bradley's going to come over the line. He's going to take the inaugural win of the GT3 GTP series here as well. It's all down to Sean Bradley. He's done an absolutely stellar job. Steve McClendon in second. And the long-term leaders of Carl Gretsch and Ben Harcum finished 3rd and 4th. Dwarnick is going to come round and take the victory in the GT3 class as well. It looks like there was a bit of an incident with Tyler Merritt here. Whether or not this was all on his own, it looked like it may have been all on his own. That's a little bit of an incident at the back there, but this is where Tyler did his thing. Round he went.
A little bit of grass.
Yeah, that's that one. Matt Perezzini.
Oh, he almost saved that, though.
Almost. And I think
man,
Sid Kashishian we watched already. So a great job here as well. We're just waiting for Dwarnick to finish over the line. But it is Bradley, McClendon, and Gretsch, your 1, 2, 3 in the GTPs. Yeah, very good job from Sean Bradley there. I really did think it was going to be a Harkham-Gretsch battle, but just didn't quite work out that way.
Yeah, I'm curious to know exactly why it didn't work out to a Gresh Harkham battle, because there were so many points where we were just watching Kyle Gresh and Ben Harkham go back and forth. And I don't know where things happened that Sean Bradley and Steve McClendon ended up in 1 and 2. I'm not complaining. I mean, kudos and congratulations to them. They've clearly done everything right to earn it, but I just don't know what it was that caused that difference.
Yeah, I'm just wondering as well whether or not it was actually. I'll try and see if we can pull in people. Right, I want you. Right, I want you. La 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 la. I want you. There we go. I think we'll go with the 3 here as well. But here are the final results of the race. And it is Team Bradley out in front here. Can we get... Can we not get the drivers? Or am I not allowed the drivers? Drivers? I'm not allowed to driver names, apparently. I will give you the rundown. It was Sean Bradley in first, Steve McClendon in second, Carl Gretsch in third, Ben Harkham fourth, with Matt Perezzini in fifth place. In the GT3s, Nick Dwarnick took the victory with Tyler Merritt in second, Chris Kane in third, Matt Harmon fourth, Grant Parker in fifth, Robert Freiberg in sixth, JC John Campbell in seventh, Sid Kashishian in eighth, Iris Ashby in ninth. Then you got Dustin Barton, who quit out earlier on, and Anthony Speraza, who did not take to the grid. But let's have a chat with your GT3 champion here, the winner of the opening round of the GTP GT3 Triple Bypass Series. Nick, well done to you, dear sir. Excellent job. How's it feeling winning the opening round? Nick? Nick? Can you hear him, Brad, or is it just me?
I can hear you.
No, can you hear...
I can't hear him.
Can you hear Nick or not?
I cannot.
No, I can't either. Okay, I thought it was just me. Check your inputs there, buddy, because there has been a Windows update. And we know how much the Windows updates love to be able to change the settings. So we'll give him a minute to work it out. Let's give him a minute.
Yep. Oh.
Nick, can you hear us? I'll tell you what. We'll pop you back in, Nick, and we'll try and catch up with you in a minute. Just shoot me a message and let me know that you are all good. Let's have a chat then with what seemed to be one of the front runners here this evening in the GTPs, and then took fourth place in the end here as well. Ben Harkham. Ben, welcome in. How are you, sir?
Good. How about y'all?
I'm very well. Right. I want to ask, first off, great racing. You and Kyle Gretsch swapping places there was absolutely amazing, and it looks going to be very close. But I want to ask, what happened to put you in fourth? Because we can't see anything. Did you pick up a penalty or something somewhere?
I sent it in too deep on turn one, and I kind of messed up my tires there a little bit, and then I kind of messed up on my pit strategy for fuel there.
And that's why you ended up where you ended up.
Yeah.
Sad times, buddy, because I thought you were going to be on it here as well. Clearly look like you've driven GTPs before, Ben. Are we presuming that one, right?
Yep. This was good practice for the upcoming Daytona 24. Me, Matt Perezzini, Ryan Hyatt, and Oliver Turan are going to attempt to go for the Daytona 24 win.
Okay, I've seen Perezzini tonight, mate. He did more spins than a ballet dancer at a ballet, so you might want to be careful on that one.
Yeah, I'll have to let him know about that.
Yeah, you better get out and get to do more practice there, Ben. But look, did you enjoy yourself tonight, Ben?
Oh yeah, it was a blast. I loved it.
Awesome stuff there, buddy. Well done. Congratulations finishing fourth. You know, well done to you as well. I hope you go well in D24 next weekend as well. Ben, anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Big shout out to Kyle for putting this series on. This is a ton of fun. I've always loved road racing, and this is a great way to show it off.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just looking at your Cadillac there, Ben. I think you're missing a logo. If you want to DM me, I'll send you over the JPB logo, and looks nice on the end of your wing plates.
All right.
Okay, bud. Take care, buddy, and I'll catch up with you soon.
Hey, y'all have a good one.
Right, I think we've got Nick back here. I'm just checking because I've had.
Yeah.
I think we have, haven't we? I think.
Yeah, let's try him again here.
Yeah, we'll bring in Nick once more, but we'll have a chat with Nick Dwornik, hopefully this time around. The GT3 winner here as well. Nick, welcome in there, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are y'all doing?
I'm doing very well, sir. You and Tyler having a very interesting battle for most of that race.
Yeah, he definitely was outpacing me overall, so I had to pull out the vet move and try and just to beat him on fuel. That was kind of the intention I was going for there. I'm like, well, I can't outrun the kid, so I'm going to have to think a little outside the box. And with Daytona being such a long track, you get your opportunities to try and fuel save a little bit. So I definitely sat back a little bit just to see, and like maybe we'll get him on laps. But there was some times that he was definitely, I think, maybe over pushing, and ultimately that what's led to his mistake, which got him out of there, got me the win.
Yeah, it did. I can tell you what that was. That was a slowdown penalty in the bus stop, and he didn't take it off in time by the time he entered into the pit lane. And as we know, iRacing doesn't cancel penalties once you go into the pit lane. You have to take it off beforehand, and he didn't, and he copped a stop and go. So there you go. That was unfortunately his own downfall. Nick, for you going forward, the series looks like it's good practice. It looks like you've enjoyed it here this evening. Are you one of the few triple bypass drivers that do turn right and not only left?
I think I got a little bit of right hand action. I know when I made my debut in the triple bypass, it was when we were still running NextGens at a good old Watkins Glen, and I definitely felt a little bit home at there. But honestly, these guys are great, and they definitely keep me honest, whether it's turning left or right. So we're just ready to give her.
Yeah, well, great win for you there, Nick. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go, buddy?
I guess I can shout out the hometown, shout out to St. Thomas, and shout out to Design Build Mechanical. Of course, my number one go-to when I need any HVAC done. Although I am not quite in the old small town anymore, I do appreciate them. Joe, this one's for you, buddy.
Awesome stuff, Nick. Well, thank you very much there, buddy. And hopefully we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Absolutely. Well, you can see me at the next one for sure.
Take care, bud. Right, let's have a chat with the man that finished in third place here. Carl Gretsch was leading for most of it. He was having a nice little battle with Ben Harkham. And then, for some reason, he didn't take the win. Let's see if he knows what the reason is as we bring him into the booth. Carl, welcome in there, buddy. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm very good, man. How are you?
Oh man, we're tired, we're sweaty, a little annoyed with ourselves, but yeah, we're here.
Tell me more. Why are you annoyed with yourself?
I spun behind Sid Kashishian. He was trying to get out of my way. I was going to sit behind him going into the corner, and it was one of those awkward situations where instead of it being two people fighting over position, it was two people fighting over who should go by first. So I kind of reacted, and then I turned a certain way while the car was loaded, and it spun, and that cost me a decent chunk of time. But I was still able to hold on to the back there of Steve and Sean, but I was going to have to really book it to even be in contention with those guys. And then I caught, ironically, Sid again and went too deep into the second horseshoe and flew off the racetrack and barely kept it from smacking into the wall real hard, and kind of glanced off of it and took my third place.
Okay. Third's better than nothing, no?
Yeah. I was sitting pretty there. I'm pretty happy with what I was doing with my fuel. I knew at one point, specifically to Ben, I was like 7 laps better on fuel than him, which was equivalent of probably 15 minutes of fuel. So I was sitting good there, but at the end I was still too far, I felt, from being able to make it to cut out a stop. So I still needed to pit, but I would have to take way less fuel. So I was just kind of in a weird predicament, and I decided to pit after I made a mistake, and then just kind of equalized and spun a couple times.
Well, Kyle, unfortunate there for you, but a great race nonetheless. Taking that third place, getting points on the board. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Well, first, shout out to Sean for winning. He's one of the admins for the series. If anybody at home is watching this and they want to come jump out for some GTP, GT3 stuff, this is literally our first race, with points in anything. So this is kind of a shot in the dark with kind of figuring this out. Done some test sessions, but to actually have this done and over with is nice. We've got some stuff that we can kind of look at and improve on. But moving forward, this is going to be a great, I guess, correct term would be tri-weekly series for everyone to come out and try.
Awesome stuff. Well, Carl, thanks so much for joining there, bud. And we'll look forward to catching you at the next one, but I'm sure I'll see you before that. So take care, mate, and I'll have a catch up with you soon.
Peace.
All right, next up is going to be Steve McClendon, who finished in second place. Is he surprised he got there in second? Well, let's find out here this evening as well. Steve, welcome into the booth, dear sir. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm not bad. Let's just, let's put it into perspective. It's 20 to 5 in the morning. I'm okay. Don't ask. Okay. Was you expecting second?
At the beginning of the race, yes. After I tried to give it away so many times, no.
Okay.
I think the strategy just worked out there at the end where it got us up there.
Yeah, it definitely did. I think you weren't the only one who had issues with the car. We saw you on lap 13 in turn 1. You spun it up there as well. I don't think you were the only one. Ben had an issue. Carl had an issue. I think everybody was off where their pit stop strategy should have been. But you kind of just made the best of the bad situation and tootled around and took the second place. It's got to be a great start to the season, isn't it?
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I'm happy with it. Don't get me wrong on that. Like I said, I just that first spin was a personal mistake. I messed up there. It wasn't really anything with the car or the setup. Thought it was really fast, to be honest. And the last stint there, I didn't take tires just to try to make sure I came out with Sean, try to give him a run for his money, and they were just kind of used up at that point. And I was pushing a little too hard, and yeah, you're gonna have that, but we had the rest of the field gapped up enough that I felt like I could get away with some things and just took some chances.
Yeah, the Western Horseshoe being one of them there, dear. So too much power there. I think you would have had him. You were closing at a rapid rate of knots. Your lap times were, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think at 1.7 tenths quicker than Sean's in front. So you were on for a winner, though. Going on to the next one, tri-weekly or next 3 weeks to wait as well, Steve. Do you think you could challenge for this title?
Hope so. I'm actually going to be out of town for the next race, so I'm going to miss that one. So, I think we can just keep plowing through and keep stacking up good finishes, and we'll just see where it shakes out at the end of the year.
Yeah, well, definitely will there, buddy. Thank you so much for joining me. Anyone you want to shout out before I let you go?
No, sir, man. It's well past our bedtime here as well, so we'll just do it on the next one. I hope you have a good night.
And you, man. Take care.
Yes, sir.
Right, next up, we're going to have a chat with your winner of the GTPs. It is the one silent assassin, the mighty lion who stalked his prey to the point of where they made all mistakes. He then come through and decided, I'm going to have this win. Thank you very much, champions. Sean Bradley, welcome in, buddy. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm a little bit sore and tired, and if I knew you were going to talk to the GT3 guys first, I would have gone to the washroom. I really got to pee, but otherwise, I'm all right.
You've got to do it in orders, mate. You're the most important winner, aren't you? GTP's the top series. You go last.
I don't know about most important, but it's the fastest car. I'll take that.
Yeah, exactly. Top series. Let's just call it that. So, how was it for you in that one there, buddy? You did a stellar job, come through. Wasn't really expected to take the win, I'm probably presuming on that.
I was not expecting to take a win at all. I thought that at one point that I was probably going to be bailing out because I was probably going to be dead last or something. I was so slow when the sun was out. I couldn't get the rear tires to cooperate. And then when the sun started setting, the car just came alive for me. And I was putting down some decent lap times. Still didn't think I was going to be P1. I thought maybe top 3, but I'm not a road course racer by any means. It just somehow fell into my lap this time.
Well, to be honest, sir, you went and won the race. So for somebody who's not a road code racer, you did very, very well there as well. Is this series just a bit of fun for you? Learning curve for the first season?
Learning curve, yeah, big time. I thought that I was doing a disservice to everyone by jumping into the GTP, but it was just, this is such a cool car. I gotta do it. So here I am, and yeah, it was kind of this was kind of my place to learn road course racing. So to come out with a win is completely unexpected.
Well, I got to be honest, sir. You did an absolutely stellar job, and well done. And we look forward to seeing what you can do on the next one. Anyone you want to shout out before I let you go, Sean?
Yeah, big shout out to Kyle for putting this thing together. This is going to be an awesome series, and huge shout out to Steve at the end there. I thought he was going to just, bide his time, stay behind me, and then get the toe and go around me for the win. But no, that was an awesome scrap at the end there, and he was so fast. He had such better pace. So great job to him.
Yeah, we thought he was going to, but he made a mistake coming out the Western Horseshoe to put him about 1.9 back. So that's why he didn't catch up with you. But it was a shame. I thought it was going to come down to the wire there as well. Well done, Sean. Excellent win here for the opening round of the GTB GT3s. Enjoy yourself, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.
All right, thanks.
Okay, guys, and that's going to bring this to the end. And don't forget, we've got a few more thanks to go here before we exit out. Thank you to Grant Parker for sponsoring this evening's race. Absolute legend there as well, and thank you so much to him. Don't forget, if you want to get yourselves involved, 5 nights of racing here as well. Sundays Gen 4, Tuesdays late models, Wednesdays road racing, Thursdays Xfinity, Friday is the GTP GT3 series. Head over to triplebypassracing.com. Get yourselves involved if you really want to. Brad, that was an interesting opening round. Great job from all the guys as well, and look forward to seeing what we can do on the next one, eh?
Man, that was everything I wanted it to be, and then some. I hate that we have to wait till the 2nd of February to see the Monza Grand Prix, but man, you think we can convince the guys to run another 2.4 hours, or is that asking a little too much?
Yo, you're not the one to stand away till nearly 5 in the morning, bro. I think me and you will have a conversation about that off broadcast.
Well, it's been fun commentating, guys. I might be getting fired.
No, you're all good, mate. I don't really know, to be honest. I know they're 1.5 hours, aren't they? I think they were doing as well. So, going forward, let's have a look at the schedule. The next one will be at Monza Grand Prix. Then we've got Twin Ring Matigi, Sebring, and finishing the season at Canadian Tire. So it's definitely going to be an exciting one here as well. And I think that's going to bring this close to the end of the evening. Thank you so much to everybody that's joined us in YouTube chat. Brian and Thomas keeping the chat going there as well. Nodge for jumping in here as well. And apologies if I have missed anybody else. Gunman, thank you so much there for joining us as well. But for now, guys, from myself up here in the booth, I've been James Parfitt alongside Bradley Dalton. And for now, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on a track sometime. Good night.